the maternal father of the Pokémon world. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 1 Prologue Eminem and -039 S Diary. P.S. Only the diary is in the first person. The diary in the prologue is mainly to explain the a few years before the protagonist crosses over and before becoming a trainer, that is, to give the protagonist an identity background. It is recommended to read it. The Alliance year is 196 years, the first day of crossing. Later added, I never thought that such a thing as time travel would happen to me. The guy who was bunked down last night recommended Lord of the Mysteries, but after staying up late to read the novel, he time traveled. But fortunately, at least the world he traveled through was relatively friendly. It is a pity that I'm wearing, and I'm still an orphan. I don't know if the guy in my lower berth has traveled through time. Maybe it's somewhere to eat and drink spicy food. Here is a complaint about the protagonist of Dong Dong's previous work, who traveled through One Piece. If you are not interested, don't worry about it. Alliance year 196, November 6th. Traveling through the second day, I finally figured out the exact date and confirmed that it really is the world of Pokémon. And at present, although it is quite different from the animation, it is not a dark place and everyone is very friendly. It's just a pity that there is no protagonist level event such as the recognition of the Master of the Beast in place. This is Sangzhou Town, a small town in the southern part of the Kanto region. It belongs to a land reclamation area with a small population and a large area of farms. Because it is not a tourist resort, so few outsiders will come except for the trainer. Everyone is still very puzzled by the sudden appearance of a 14-year-old orphan and homeless person like me. Fortunately, everyone is very kind. Uncle Jack's family not only gave me food, but also took me in for a night. I decided to continue journaling, a tradition at our orphanage. Alliance year 196, November 7th. I don't want to eat and drink for free, so I started to help Uncle Jack's farm work, and I hope that my time traveling protagonist treatment can be in place soon and come quickly to a divine beast to subdue me. Unfortunately, there are no divine beasts, but today, a sister named King Mui visited me. After learning about my background, she asked me if I wanted a place where I could help for a long time. Of course I immediately agreed. After all, this farm doesn't need me at all. It only provides food and lodging because of my pity, and I don't want to eat and drink for nothing. And from what Uncle Jack meant, Sister King Mui lived with her grandma, and her grandma Leixi was a well-known pharmacist in the town, so she was not suspicious. Alliance year 196, November 8th. I'm so excited that I can hardly write a diary today. My protagonist, Goldfinger, has finally arrived. Although it's not a mythical beast, it's still very powerful. Today I went home with Sister King Mui and met Grandma Leixi. No one was surprised by the name Amu, except for a very few wealthy families in this world. Surnames are not emphasized. Grandma Leixi looked scary, like a witch in legends, but in fact she was hard-hearted and agreed to let me stay as an apprentice and usually help her. Just when I heard Grandma Leixi talk about how to deal with some basic herbs, my golden fingers awakened. Congratulations on becoming a level 9 extraordinary professional. Please choose one of the following two occupations. 1. Pharmacist. You will have exceptional pharmacy qualifications. Requirements for promotion to play. Possess first class pharmacist qualification. 2. Cultivator. You will have extraordinary qualifications in implantology. Conditions for promotion to play. Possess first level planter qualification. At that time, a few lines appeared in my consciousness. At first I was taken aback, thinking I was hallucinating, and then I was even more taken aback. Isn't this the sequence 9 of Path of the Moon and Path of Mother in Lord of the Mysteries? Although the ability seems to have been simplified a lot, but, if I remember correctly, there is a feminine effect in the following sequence 1 and sequence 2, right? Of course, sequence 1 and 2 are things that will come later. The big deal is not to be promoted, and I dare not say that I will definitely be able to be promoted to such a high level point. so I looked at the one in front of me first and chose one. Pharmacist. At the beginning, Grandma Leixi was a little angry because of my distraction, but after I became a pharmacist, I showed extraordinary talent in pharmacy. Although Grandma Leixi's knife mouth still often satirizes me, but I can see that Grandma Leixi seems to be surprised by my talent. Alliance year 196, November 9th. In my sleep last night, I saw the ability of sequence 8 in advance. When you complete the role playing at level 9, you will have the ability of level 8, and you can choose one of the following two extraordinary professions. 1. Beast Tamer. You will have extraordinary trainer qualifications, physical fitness improvement, able to share senses with Pokémon, and have the ability to tap Pokémon's potential. 2. Physician. You will have extraordinary medical qualifications. Of course, physician or something doesn't matter at all. This is a world of Pokémon, and I will definitely choose Beast Tamer then. More importantly, now that I've identified how the cheat works, it seems that after each promotion, you can choose the next sequence of the two paths. So if you count it, the feminization of Moon and Mother did not happen in the same sequence. That is to say, even if I really became a humanoid beast in sequence 1 and sequence 2, I could still jump left and right to avoid the feminization effect. Starting today, my goal is to become a male mother. Alliance year 196, December 6th. It has been a month since time travel, and my talent as a pharmacist shocked even Grandma Leixi. Even though Grandma Leixi still pretends to be mean and cold, but she is becoming more and more unable to pretend to show appreciation. I asked Grandma Leixi about the first class pharmacist. My golden finger is not the path of God, or a mutated path of God. The acting method is simple and rough, and it directly marks the level that needs to be achieved. No matter how you look at it, the term first class pharmacist seems like a level certification in this world. This is indeed the case. Grandma Leixi briefly talked to me about this aspect after she satirized my high-sightedness and low-handedness and high-spiritedness. Pharmacists can participate in the registration certification of the Pharmacists Association, which is recognized by the 9 major alliances. Note 1, but a first level pharmacist is not the lowest level. The initial level is the 3rd level pharmacist, then the 2nd level, and then the 1st level. And above the 1st level, there are expert and master levels. As for masters of pharmacy, the entire pharmacist guild has only certified 7, an average of less than 1 per alliance, and there is 1 in the Quartz alliance, but it is in the Chengdu area, and there is no pharmacy master in the entire Kanto area. Regarding the fact that I want to be a pharmacist, Grandma Leixi gave me a good laugh. Then she threw me a registration form for the 3rd level pharmacist next year. Alliance year 196, December 7th. In the words of Grandma Leixi, a 3rd level pharmacist has no difficulty and can pass it with hands. It is true that the assessment of a 3rd level pharmacist is very basic. As long as he can make some basic medicines and can extract bio cubes from tree fruits, he will be considered as having completed the assessment. For me, though, it's a matter of practice. What the profession of pharmacist gave me was only a very high talent for pharmacists, which made me not only easy to remember the knowledge of pharmacy, but also have an instinctive sense of familiarity with various herbal medicines. And I have a strong sense of distinguishing herbal medicines. It's like a natural sensitivity. But this does not mean that I'm immediately a master of pharmacy from birth, and I still have to learn from scratch. Alliance year 197, January 1st. In the blink of an eye, it has been 2 months. Today is my first new year in the Pokémon world. I don't know if the brothers in the lower bunk have crossed over, and where they have crossed, it should be eating and drinking spicy food. But I also have Sister King Mui and Grandma Leixi to accompany me. Alliance year 197, March 15th. It has been half a year since I studied pharmacy with Grandma Leixi, and the 1st of next month is the day of this year's 3rd level pharmacist examination. This kind of basic assessment has examination rooms in the 6 major cities in the Kanto area. I'm also going to go to Kyanhang City, east of Sangzhou town, with Sister King Mui. Sister King Mui is also taking the exam this year, but she is a 2nd level pharmacist, and the exam date is 10 days earlier than mine. Sitting on the train, I saw wild Pokémon along the way several times. It's a pity that I'm not a trainer now, and I don't have my own Pokémon, and the Usangia in this world can't get it when they reach the age, but they have to pay taxes continuously to get it before they travel at the age of 16. He who must have no hope. Traveling through 2 months. I already know a lot of basic information about this world, such as humans have a strong ability to resist attacks, especially when Pokémon do not have killing intent. Humans are actually relatively safe in this world. But even so, traveling trainers start traveling at the age of 16, not 10 years old. In animations and games this is still the youngest age, and they can also receive Pokémon to travel at the age of 18. If they are over 18 years old, some first year travel benefits are gone. In addition, there are also academy style trainers. Alliance Year 197, March 17th. Arrived in Light Red City. It's more lively than I imagined, and the technology is more advanced than I imagined. It feels like nothing in the small town. After coming to the city, compared with before I traveled, it is completely the style of the near future. When chatting with Sister King Mui, I have a general understanding of the population of this world. For example, the Kanto area is about 2 million square kilometers. There is no specific value, because there is a vast wilderness range between each area, and there is no concept of country, so naturally there is no clear concept of boundaries. The entire Guandu has a population of about 70 million, but 50 million of them are concentrated in the 6 major cities and the central city of Rainbow City. Therefore, outside of these 6 metropolises, most of the places give people the feeling that the land is sparsely populated, and the small towns and villages are sparsely arranged, and the population is generally small. Alliance Year 197, March 20th. Sister King Mui completed the assessment of the 2nd level pharmacist today, and we briefly celebrated. Alliance Year 197, April 1st. The 3rd level pharmacist assessment is complete. Sure enough, it's very simple. Alliance Year 197, April 3rd. After a day of sightseeing, today I took the return train with Miss King Mui. Although Sister King Mui has Pokémon, she is not a trainer after all, and she doesn't mean to go out into the wild and train elves by the waypoint. While riding in the car, in the newspaper, I saw a piece of news that caught my attention. New progress in the study of Pokémon fossils. It's not the content of the news itself that interests me, but this well-known fossil and mining group is actually called the Suzuki Group. What about Devon Group? With a fluke mentality, I asked Miss King Mui, but she only knew about Suzuki Group. After all, it is a world-renowned group, Devon Group or something. I had never heard of it. Alliance Year 197, December 10th. Next year's 2nd level pharmacist assessment date is out, which is later than last year, and I have already signed up. The 2nd level pharmacist is required to be able to make good wound medicine, as well as abnormal recovery medicine such as anesthetics and antidotes every year. The good wound medicine and another 2nd level medicine will be randomly selected. In fact, I have been able to complete it proficiently long ago, but the pharmacist level assessment for the first 3 levels is only once a year, and registration requires the qualification of the previous level, so I can only take it step by step. Alliance Year 198, April 10th. Secondary pharmacist qualification obtained. Alliance Year 198, October 8th. Next year's 1st level pharmacist assessment time is out, but Grandma Leixi didn't let me sign up, saying that my foundation is not solid now, and if I fail the assessment then it will embarrass her. I also understand Grandma Leixi's intentions. She was worried that I would pursue higher level skills too much and ignore the basics. Indeed, what a 1st level pharmacist needs, even if it is difficult medicines such as full compound medicines and stamina medicines, I can already refine them, but there is always a slight chance of failure. Although from the perspective of cost, this is nothing, and even the failure rate is already lower than most 1st level pharmacists. But in the words of Grandma Leixi, this is a manifestation of an unstable foundation. In order to allow me to go further, Grandma Leixi forbade me to sign up for next year's assessment. As for Grandma Leixi's level of pharmacy, I don't know either. It can only be said to be unfathomable. I used to think that I would be able to excel in the blue soon. After all, Grandma Leixi does not seem to have a pharmacist level certified by the guild and the alliance point, but now I understand that Grandma Lexi's attainments in pharmacy are beyond what I can imagine, and even I, who already has a first level, have no idea where Grandma Lexi's ability lies. Grandma Lexi's daily refining operations are extremely irregular, and she can even be said to do whatever she wants. But she never fails. Alliance year 199. July 8th. It took more than half a year to lay a solid foundation, and now Grandma Leixi has approved me to take the first level pharmacist examination, but I can only wait for next year. I'm also completely sure that my golden finger is quite rigid. The promotion condition must be obtaining the qualification of first class pharmacist. It is not enough to have this strength. Alliance year 199. July 9th. Grandma Ike started teaching me some special pharmacist tricks and some special potion refining methods. These are exactly what expert pharmacists come into contact with. This is no longer a medicine that can be seen in shops and department stores everywhere. Different pharmacy experts are good at different things, and they cannot be mass produced. And in the Pokémon world, pharmacists are basically inclined to the research and production of Pokémon potions. After all, for human society, Pokémon is also the primary productive force. Even the most basic construction workers will subdue some powerful Pokémon to cooperate. The assessment for expert level pharmacists only happens once every 3 years, and it is no longer held in the 6 major cities. In the Kanto area, it is held in the largest central city, Rainbow City. After all, in the entire Kanto region, there are only a dozen or so experts with expert pharmacist qualifications, and sometimes there are not even one new one in 3 years. Alliance year 199. September 20th. I revealed a little bit. I still want to become a trainer. Sure enough, Grandma Leixi was very angry, saying that I was half-hearted and not focused. But when I pass the assessment next year, I will become a beast tamer, and I will definitely become a trainer by then. Now that I have come to the Pokémon world, I don't want to be just a pharmacist. Alliance year 199. September 23rd. Grandma Leixi ignored me for several days, but Sister Kingmui supported me very much, and even advised me to admit my mistake to Grandma Leixi first, and then she quietly helped me get an initial Pokémon point. But I can also see that Kingmui also feels that I'm a young man who is active. After traveling for a few months or a year, my mind will naturally stop, and then I will realize the reality and come back to be a genius pharmacist. Alliance year 199. October 3rd. Grandma Leixi is still sharp-mouthed and tofu-minded. Although her attitude towards me is even worse, she often takes the opportunity to ridicule my whims or give some half-hearted examples that lead to nothing, but she is still very attentive when teaching me. It also makes me a little guilty. I hope that, after I show my talent as a trainer, Grandma Leixi will change a little bit. And as for the pharmacist, I won't give up either. The 200th year of the Alliance, March 1st. Hiding under the covers and quietly watching this year's rookie competition in the Chengdu area, my eyes were a little tired. The 200th year of the Alliance, March 3rd. The first level pharmacist assessment is tomorrow. Also today I saw in the newspaper, Shinichi, a famous detective student of Kanto Pokémon Academy, again cracked a Pokémon injury case caused by Team Rocket. This sense of deja vu made me understand that the world may be more not simple than I imagined. The 200th year of the Alliance, March 4th. First class pharmacist examination. That's it? This is not something you can pass with your hands. The 200th year of the Alliance, March 6th. Back in Sangzhou town, I can feel that Grandma Leixi is not in a good mood. As for the fact that I became a first-class pharmacist, it is not good news according to Grandma Leixi. If I go to take the expert level assessment now, I will probably be able to pass it. In a somewhat depressing atmosphere during dinner, Grandma Leixi asked me to get up early tomorrow, to find her probably trying to persuade me to give up in the end. Sister Kingmui was a little worried and kept winking at me. The 200th year of the Alliance, March 7th. Never expected that Grandma Leixi would. After learning that I want to become a trainer, they have been helping me pay the tax for newcomer trainers. She also told me that she knew Dr. Damu in Zengsan Town and asked me to go to Dr. Damu to get the Usangia in Kanto, and also gave me the egg who usually assists me when I make potions as a gift. The first Pokémon. Note 1. The Orange Alliance is considered to be affiliated to Quartz. The Alola region already has an alliance. Currently there are 7 alliances and 8 regions, but the 9th region and the 8th alliance will be released by the end of the year. This book is so long that it might be able to catch up with the 10th generation, so it is written ahead of time. The 9 major alliances, before the latter 2 alliances and regions appear, are all written in one stroke. Chapter 2: A Complex World. Antecedent. The journey of 3.5 years and the situation of Goldfinger are explained in prologue. Eminem's diary, about 5,000 words. Recommended reading point. If you don't read it, at least read the introduction. 18-year-old Eminem has traveled through the Pokémon world for more than 3 years. She has been studying pharmacy with Grandma Leixi from Sangzhou Town. With the addition of Sequence 9 Pharmacist, her talent in pharmacy is extremely high, has obtained the qualification of a first-class pharmacist, and the role of pharmacist in Sequence 9 has been completed. At this time, Eminem, who chose Beast Tamer in Sequence 8, has just embarked on the trainer's journey, and is about to go to Zengsan Town to receive the Usangia from Dr. Oki, whom Grandma Leixi knew. At present, Pokémon has Eggy as an assistant. When learning pharmacy, it is set to be at least 16 years old to open the illustration book and officially start the trainer trip, and to register at the latest 18 years old to enjoy the 1-year newcomer qualification. On March 10th, 200, Eminem took a passenger ship and departed from Umachi Port in Rampa City, a small city west of Sangzhou Town. 2 days later, we arrived at Ashwood Town in the south of Zengsan Town. Although there are coastal ports, neither Rampa nor Ashwood is a big city or town. It is probably because of the hydrological environment. The draft of Uding Port in Rampa City is shallow, and the sea area south of Ashwood Town has a wide range of reefs. Therefore, although these 2 ports are the southernmost ports of Dongguandu and Ziguandu, they are not as busy as the deep water port of Deadleaf City deep in the bay. Large passenger ships and cargo ships basically go to Deadleaf Port. As for Zengsan Town, it is a small town among small towns. However, because Dr. Roki's research institute is there, Zengsan Town is still very famous. The entire Kanto is roughly divided into East Kanto and West Kanto, with the Viridian Forest and Moon Mountain as the boundary. Map of the capital is shown later. It was the first time Eminem came to East Kanto, or even the first time he traveled by himself, so he was very curious. Of course, the first thing after disembarking is to report to the family that they are safe. Then Eminem didn't linger in Ashwood Town and rushed to the station. Along the map, March 1st to 10th is a day to receive newcomer Pokémon this year. Secondly, this is to go to Dr. Damu in Zengsan Town to lead the Usan family. Eminem is very excited and doesn't have much other thoughts. Eggy, Eggy, Eggy. At this moment, on Eminem's shoulders, backpack, and even the top of his head, eggs with eyes, noses, and mouths were arguing with each other. Of course, these are not actually eggs, nor are they several Pokémon, but eggs of Kanto number 103, grass type plus superpower type. The 6 eggs seem to have different expressions, but in fact this is a manifestation similar to schizophrenia, and they are all different consciousnesses of the same life point. Even if one breaks one day, a new carrier will gradually be split. Amen. Stop arguing, be quiet for a while, and then I will introduce you to a new friend. Eminem poked an egg on his shoulder, because we are obviously one, but they have to be called we, so Eminem named them Amen. I heard from Grandma Leixi that in ancient times, fire was used to refine medicine, and there were no other extraction and synthesis techniques, so the partners of pharmacists were generally fire type Pokémon. But now it is different. There are many kinds of techniques. Pharmacists are more important to grasp the medicinal properties of raw materials, and even serve as growers, to cultivate raw materials by themselves, so their partners are usually grass type Pokémon. Our men's size is not big, each egg is less than a catty, so it is convenient to carry, so Amu didn't put them into the elf bowl. It is not far from Ashwood Town to Zengsan Town, and there are direct buses, after buying the nearest ticket. Eminem saw that there were still more than 2 hours left in the time, so he decided to stroll around the station first. It just happened to be discovered that a small conflict was erupting on a roadside tennis court next to it. It was probably a few tall students who got into an argument with a short student for some reason, and after that, it was fast forward to the tennis match. "You, brat, want to play tennis with me? Hahaha, then let me teach you a lesson." The tall student, as soon as he came up, released the power in the elf ball, and then handed it a tennis racket. Eminem doesn't think it's strange. Tennis in this world is like this. In singles, players and Pokémon play together, and in doubles, 2 players send out a Pokémon each. There are not only trainers in this world, but almost all professions are closely related to Pokémon. The same goes for all sports. Sangzhou Town is an agricultural town, a typical collection of farms. It is not easy to watch Pokémon battles, and no one plays tennis. In contrast, Ashwood Town is still lively. Seeing this, Eminem watched from the side with great interest. "Hey, that kid is so short, can he do it?" "Yuanzi, keep your voice down. What are you afraid of? It's the tall guy, but he's actually not that good at beating." At this moment, Eminem looked at the same onlookers on the side, and found that there were 2 women and 1 man. One of the 2 women had long hair, and the other had short hair and a headband. As for their appearance, should be considered good, right? Eminem has some mild face blindness, but that boy. Eminem looked at him, then at the short guy on the field, then at him. This same contemptuous expression made Eminem even suspect that the 2 were brothers. "I'll teach you how to play tennis," the short man said, releasing a Lucario. "Huh, isn't that Lucario?" The long-haired girls who were watching were a little excited. Indeed, it is said that Lucario is very rare in the Sinnoh area, and even rarer in Kanto. Maybe he is an overseas student. The cool boy beside him said at this time. He, Ziolan, the ace Pokémon of the owner of Corny, that you admire is Lucario, right?" The short-haired girl booed a side point. Although the tall tennis player on the field was also taken aback, he still threw the ball to the opponent. "Let you serve first." "Oh." The short boy responded coolly. "I saw him throwing it in the direction of his partner Lucario, and then Lucario leaped up and became a Wava Guide first." The racket flashed with a faint blue power representing the Wava Guide, and the moment it touched the ball also wrapped the Wava Guide. The power draws an arc, dodges Haoli, and lands hard at the opponent's feet. After a bounding, almost gets stuck on the opponent's face. "Ah, that was Yuanzi just now?" Xiaolan paused in surprise. "What was it called?" As he spoke, he looked towards the garden where the tennis club used to be when he was in school. "Outward spinning Wava Guide serve. It's an out-spinning Wava Guide serve?" Yuanzi was surprised. Slim Shady. "Oh, you are still far behind." The short boy said coolly. "Zinai, this guy looks like a stinky fart. Does he look like a person?" Sinako suddenly asked with a smirk. The boy on the side pouted. Slim Shady. Eminem still can't accept it. "Let's not mention the outspin Wava Guide serve. The 3 of you are just Zinai. Are you the famous detective in the newspaper?" Eminem asked directly. "That's right. If it's not the same name, I'm indeed Shinichi, a detective. It's not the kind of high-profile show-off, but there is indeed a sense of superiority in the tone." When Yuanzi was booing from the side, as expected of a celebrity, Eminem had already bid farewell. "It's better to go first. Maybe some criminal cases will happen here soon, although judging from the newspapers, there are not so many homicide cases in this world. Most of the well-known high school student detectives solve murder cases and theft cases. But be careful. What if I lose one later? Don't bother with the famous detective. Dang dang. As for the intrusion of other anime characters, most of them are soy sauce characters, but there are also some related to the sub-main line. The main line of this book is basically the line of playing gymnasiums and regional competitions normally, but this kind of storyline alone obviously cannot support the plot, and there will be a sub-main line but it must be the Pokémon stream. No matter what character appears, it is the worldview of Pokémon, and only Pokémon can be used in battle. There will be no human combat power to tier Pokémon by hand. The role of Internet King is to mess around and make soy sauce. The role of Conan is quite special. It should be regarded as a long branch line in itself. which will be connected with a mid to late stage plot point. In addition, in Kanto volume Complicated World, there is no clear sub-main line, but Conan characters will appear several times, mainly to build a world view and make this Pokémon world clear. First point, a little spoiler can be used. The second volume is Chengdu volume seal release. Everyone who understands it will understand. Chapter 3, Encounter Again. Half an hour earlier, Eminem faced the number and was almost the first to sit in the car. Taking advantage of this time, Army also flipped through the more advanced books on trainers that he carried with him when I was in Sangzhou town. Firstly, I was afraid that Grandma Leixi would be angry, and secondly, I hadn't become a trainer at that time. Beast Tamer, so there is not much knowledge in this area. Point, now Eminem has the Sequence 8 Beast Tamer profession, and his talent in trainers has been greatly improved, and he has quickly absorbed this knowledge. Point, even when I was on board, I had read 3 basic textbooks and 4 popular basic reference books. After completing the role-playing of Sequence 9, Eminem has also learned the promotion condition of Sequence 8, the promotion condition of animal trainer role-playing, becoming an excellent trainer. Compared with Sequence 9, the promotion conditions seem a bit vague, but Eminem is very optimistic at this time. Maybe once he has the trainer qualification, he will be an excellent trainer. Rody, Xiaolan, this way. Ah, you're not the one just now. At this moment, Amu suddenly heard a somewhat familiar voice, and when he thought it's not good in his heart, he found that it was Yuanzi and his group, and Yuanzi was looking at Amu in surprise. Point, although I just saw it once, but Yuanzi is obviously not blind at all. What a coincidence. Eminem smiled helplessly and greeted him. Point, fortunately, Eminem is in row C, and there are 3 seats in each row on the left row, so the other 3 people should not be the same as me. Yuanzi suddenly sat on the seat in the same row as Eminem, across the middle, and said, there should be no one here, right? The 3 of us are too crowded, so let's sit separately. But even though Sonoko said so, he put his backpack on the side of Rody, and it became Shinichi and Xiaolan sitting next to each other. Yuanzi. Xiaolan blushed. Point, seeing Yuanzi's snickering expression, Xiaolan knew she did it on purpose. Point, as for Zinai, although his face was calm, and he even complained in his heart that he was a mother-in-law, but he was very happy in his heart, but he didn't show it at all. Instead he had a tugging look on his face. It's the person who played tennis just now Shinichi's younger brother? Amu asked knowingly. No, we just met by chance. Sonoko said. Oh, so that's the case, but it really looks like it. Eminem looked in disbelief. Huh? Resembling it? Xiaolan recalled while talking. PFFT. You mean the defiant look in your eyes? Yuanzi got exactly what Eminem meant and laughed out loud. Point, Shinichi glanced at the 2 people in the front row. Point, soon the vehicle started to move, and sure enough there was no one next to Eminem. Someone was to blame. Yuanzi bought 5 tickets. If Eminem hadn't bought it early, I'm afraid I would have lost this one. Point, at the beginning, Yuanzi often turned his head, peeking at the 2 people behind him from the gap in the seat, and then stamped his feet anxiously. Later, he may have felt that it was impossible to expect any advancement from the 2 people behind him, so he chatted up with Eminem mildly. Are you also a Pokémon trainer? What's your name? After these 3 got into the car, Eminem has been on guard all the time and didn't read any more books. He always felt that something might happen. No matter how bad it is, he has to watch his 6 eggs. Right. My name is Eminem, and I will be a trainer soon. Eminem said. Point, Eminem already has the talent of a trainer, but the qualifications of a trainer must be certified by the Alliance and have a picture book. Point, hearing what Eminem said and adding the destination of the bus, Sonoko immediately understood. You also went to Dr. Oki to get the initial Pokémon? You look a bit older than us, right? Well, that's right. I'm 18 years old. Eminem is the upper limit of the trip, and Sonoko and the others should be the lower limit of 16 years old. Point. But what surprised Eminem was that Sonoko and the others also came to find Dr. Oki. Ordinarily, although Dr. Oki is very famous, but now he is in a state of hiding from the world and doing scientific research, so he doesn't really take on the functions assigned by the Usangia. Point, it seems they may also have gone through the back door. 18 years old, that's really rare. Yuanzi said with emotion. Indeed, it usually starts at the age of 16. I was doing some pharmacist studies for the first 2 years. Amu simply explained. Yuanzi asked familiarly, pharmacist, how is it? Do you have a 3rd level professional certification? I just got the 1st level. Eminem said truthfully, PFFT, you're really humorous. Yuanzi only thought he was joking. After all, although there are many more 1st level pharmacists than expert level ones, they are by no means attainable by 18-year-old Shinichi, who was pretending to be asleep, quietly opened his eyes and thought to himself, this kid is not interested in Sonoko, is he? Actually bragging, but thinking about Eminem's tone, Shinichi dispelled his doubts again. If he is really interested in Sonoko, then it is really suspicious. Eminem didn't explain much, so just take it as a joke. When you receive the initial Pokémon and illustration book, we can add a friend. Your first Pokémon is Dandan. Have you figured out which Usangia you want to receive? Sonoko chatted without looking outside. It should be the seed of the wonderful frog. But it still depends on fate. Amu is indeed the plan. I'm more inclined to the frog seed, but if there are Charmander and Squirtle that are very eye-catching, it is not absolutely impossible to change. Of course, it would be even better if there were divine beasts that insisted on keeping an alchemy, grass type. Sure enough, it's a pharmacist. I haven't figured it out yet. It seems that the fire-breathing dragon will be more majestic. Yuanzi said with emotion. Could it be that my rival is Sonoko? Amu complained in his heart. As for the reason why Eminem prefers to choose the grass type frog seed, it is partly because of the pharmacist, and in addition, also because now Eminem can see the career choice of the next stage. At that time, when you completed the role playing at level 8, you will have the ability of level 7, and you can choose one of the following 2 extraordinary professions! 1. Vampire. Your appearance will be greatly improved. Physical fitness has been greatly improved, but will become afraid of the sun. In terms of fairy, ghost, and evil, he will become more talented too. Harvest priest. You will have the ability to catalyze the growth and reproduction of organisms. Physical fitness improvement. In terms of ground, grass, and poison, it will become more talented. Of the 2, Eminem is now more inclined to the 2nd type of harvest priest. At that time, the ground, grass, and poison types will have more training advantages. After all, judging from the addition of the 2, the vampire is more about adding appearance and combat power, while the harvest priest actually adds the talent of the trainer. Eminem doesn't really care about being afraid of the sun. After all, many ghost trainers are a little afraid of the sun. But in the Pokémon world, of course, the ability of the harvest priest is more important. Personal strength is the difference between a 10 level Pokémon and a 20 level Pokémon. Eminem doesn't care much about his appearance. He is slightly face blind, and he wears glasses, is of standard height, and looks gentle. Isn't it bad? The best proof is that Yuanzi will take the initiative to strike up a conversation. Of course, Yuanzi didn't commit an info in the same place, which is also a proof of the upper limit. As for attribute tendencies, what the beast trainer bestowed on Eminem was originally a super trainer talent, and no Pokémon of any attribute would dislike Eminem because of incompatible attributes. And if we really want to talk about it, Eminem is now a tendency of fairy, ghost, and evil, because pharmacist and beast trainer are both moon path professions, tending to the power of the moon and the power of darkness, the power of the curse. In the world of Pokémon, the power drawn from the moon and stars is the power of the fairy type, while the power of darkness and curse is the evil type and ghost type. Eminem, who chose the moon path twice, already has the bonuses of the fairy, ghost, and evil types, but it's not as obvious as, after being promoted to sequence 7. Dang dang, the new book starts to be serialized, and it will be updated around 12 o'clock noon every day, with 2 chapters per day, before it goes on the shelves. Chapter 4 Humility. Our family is generally more inclined towards steel type, rock type, and ground type. Unfortunately, the Yuuzhan family is based on water, fire, and grass, and the 3 types that my family is good at. There are really few beautiful Pokémon. Yuanzi is obviously the kind of person who is full of energy, and he can chat with strangers on a long distance bus. Although she didn't introduce herself, Eminem has basically confirmed it as expected. Her family is the big dog of the Suzuki group. The Suzuki group in this world is basically the Divan group in the game. It started out with minerals, and now it focuses on fossil research. It is reasonable for the Suzuki family to have these 3 lines. The little broken diamond is quite cute. Amu comforted after thinking about it. Yuanzi smiled hee and said, yes, so my first Pokémon is the little diamond that my brother gave me. That's right. Yuanzi in this world has an older brother who is Doru. Although he is not yet the champion of the Hone League, he is already a very famous young trainer, and Sonoko, like Eminem, already has Pokémon. By the way, Xiaolan's Pokémon is Jackrabbit, and Shinichi's Pokémon is Cleaning Rotom. Do you know Rotom? A Pokémon that can be attached to electrical appliances. The nurturing was given to him by Dr. Ali. Sonoko took the initiative to introduce it to Amu. Afterwards, driven by Sonoko, the topic turned to cute and gorgeous Pokémon. In fact, Yusanjia doesn't like Yuanzi's aesthetics. In fact, she wants the Bullsea Lions and the Alola area more. It's just because Xiaolan won't travel all the way to Alola from the very beginning, so Yuanzi also chooses to start from Kanto. Actually, the attribute tendency is not the only criterion. The most important thing is the bond. Eminem reassured me very standardly and correctly. Trainers in this world generally have some attribute tendencies, otherwise there wouldn't be so many trainers who specialize in one type of training. Of course, this tendency is not inevitable. No matter which edition of textbooks or reference books, they all point out 2 points. One is that there is no distinction between attributes, and the best one is the one that suits you. Indeed, basic attributes such as water, fire, and grass are common. But common does not mean weak. The second is the bond between the trainer and the Pokémon, which is the most important tendency. That's right, just like the owner of Sakaji. Sonoko gave a not too distant example to encourage himself. Sakaji, the current owner of the Daji Gym in Tokipan City, is known as Sakaji of the Earth, a master of the ground system, and it is said that his strength is no less than that of the 4 heavenly kings. But his trump card is a big needle bee. There is no other reason. This big needle bee grew up with him, and the bond, or intimacy, is extremely high, so it is also the strongest. As for Sakaji, Eminem can only say I don't know the whole picture, so I don't comment. The Rockets also exist in this world, but who is the boss behind the scenes is still a mystery. Eminem is not sure whether it is Sakaji. Time flies during the chat, and in the afternoon, the coach arrived at Zenxin Town. Eminem sighed in his heart. It seems that the Shinichi who has not become Conan is not so poisonous. Of course, whether the Shinichi of this world will become Conan, Eminem is also not sure. However, from a technical point of view, it is much more reasonable for such a thing to become smaller, to appear in this world than in the world of Conan. Maybe it was done by the time dragon or Abai. When we arrived in Zenxin Town, the air was particularly fresh. Obviously, this is a small town with excellent natural scenery, which is completely different from the city. Because of the same destination, Eminem and the 3 came to Dr. Roki's research institute together. The Damu Research Institute is on the edge of the town, and unlike most of the research institutes that look very technological, it looks small and exquisite from the outside, and it doesn't look like the research institute of the Alliances. Top Pokémon research master at all. After the 4 showed their credentials, they were quickly invited in and led to Dr. Oki himself. There were no other young people in the research institute who came to collect Pokémon. After all, it was the last day, and there were not many young people who could hold their breath. As soon as he entered the door, he heard Dr. Roki's hearty smile. Zinai, Amu, I didn't expect you to know each other. Hahaha, we also met on the road. This was the first time Eminem met Dr. Oki, and he was a little restrained. Drive. Oki, and me, Yuanzi, by comparison, looks like a social terrorist. Hahaha, I know. Dornu asked me before. Damu liked the appearance of the young man very much, and this one. It's my good friend, Shinichi's future wife, Yuanzi. Don't talk nonsense. Hello, Dr. Damu, I'm Xiaolan. Xiaolan was blushed by Yuanzi. It Just so happens that there is the last group of Usangia. Let's choose one each. Damu said as a matter of course. Yuanzi was taken aback when he heard this, and then counted there are 4 of us. Eminem was also taken aback. Could it be? Are you going to give me skin god? It's not impossible, but obviously there is no such good thing. Dr. Oki said, Mum wants the frog seeds, right? Leixi has already asked me to keep a good quality one. Thank you so much. Eminem said hastily. You're welcome. Leixi and I were also traveling companions. Ha. By the way, 4 months later, you will participate in the expert pharmacist assessment in Rainbow City, right? How are your preparations going? After Dr. Oki finished speaking, the 3 of Yuanzi looked at Eminem in surprise. An expert pharmacist? So, wasn't he joking? After all, only first level pharmacists can sign up for the expert level assessment, etc. Even if it's not a joke, isn't he just qualified as a first class pharmacist? That's right, it's okay to go and have a look. After all, if you just passed the first level assessment, you must be curious about the expert level assessment. Many first level pharmacists must report for the expert level assessment every 3 years. If everyone is sure before signing up, even if it happens every 3 years, the expert level assessment will not be so lively. Half and half. I hope it's not too difficult. Eminem said conservatively. Yuanzi and the 3 looked at Eminem in a daze, because the previous impact was so great, they didn't question it. But if they can really pass, an 18-year-old expert, at this time, Dr. Oki continued to smile heartily. Ha, you are really humble. Leixi didn't say that, and with her character, if you are not more than 90% sure, she will not let you sign up. You are so humble at such a young age. Hey, my grandson is half as humble as you. As he spoke, damn, you showed some headaches again. You are too much. Eminem just smiled. In fact, Oki was right. For the master level, Eminem really dare not say it, but the expert level, isn't this just as long as you have your hands? Chapter 5 Criteria 4. Originally, Amu wanted to see the eye edge, but since Dr. Oki had helped to save a frog seed, Amu did not choose another one. However, Dr. Oki released the last group of Usangia at this time for the 3 of Yuanzi to choose. Perhaps it is the reason why the new Rotom keeps clean Rotom for a long time. That is, the shape of the washing machine. He has a water relationship, and the Jenny turtle will surround him with Jenny as soon as he comes out. Afterwards, the little Charmander who was evaluated by Yuanzi as the most prestigious among the Yuuzhan family obviously had a better relationship with Xiaolan, and he still made Gorgonu gestures of boxing in front of Xiaolan. It is said that 3 people choose, but in fact it is the trainer and the Pokémon who choose each other. Seeing that the only remaining frog seeds and Yuanzi showed disgust at each other. Wonderful. Frog seed. It's not that it's not good, it's just, it's pretty cute without evolution. Yuanzi tentatively poked the sepal bone on the body of Myo frog seed, Tanatane. The frog seed also stretched out the rattan under the sepals in disgust, and pushed. Just when Yuanzi wondered if the frog seed was not close to people, he heard a different cry from the frog seed. Tana. At this time, Dr. Damu released another wonderful frog seed, and this wonderful frog seed was rubbing its head against Eminem's palm. After possessing the professional talent of beast tamer, Eminem is very popular with Pokémon, and the favorability of the first side can basically rise. Yuanzi suddenly had no excuses. Hahaha, it seems that you all hit it off with your future partner. That's good, that's good. Dr. Oki laughed at this time. No, there seems to be one who doesn't hit it off. Amu complained in his heart. After that, Dr. Oki helped the 4 transfer the ownership of Pokémon, and opened the official Pokémon illustrated book. Unlike in the game, opening the illustration book and collecting Pokémon information are naturally not the turn of Eminem and others. There are already more than 1,000 kinds of Pokémon familiar to humans in the illustration book. Note 1. It's just that Eminem noticed that many of the parts of Eudemons and mythical beasts are blurry silhouettes or photos with unclear pixels. This world does not distinguish between Eudemons, mythical beasts, and legendary Pokémon, but unified it is called a divine beast. and the power of any divine beast is far beyond what the 5, 6, or 700 race values in the game can measure. As for the common Pokémon, the distribution range is also marked on the illustrated book, especially the illustrated book given to the 4-Bioki, which also has a more detailed map of the Kanto area and the Johto area, which is obviously not an ordinary product. It's too late today, you can just rest in the research institute for one night. Dr. Oki said enthusiastically. Although if there is a picture book, the newcomers can enjoy free board and lodging at the Pokémon Center in the first year of travel, but Dr. Oki's place is more convenient, and of course the 4 of them will not refuse afterwards. The 4 of them made friends with each other on the Pokémon Pokédex, and Sonoko asked curiously, "Mum, is it okay for you to open the Pokédex now? Quartz Alliance's newcomer trainer period is only 1 year, right? 4 months afterwards, you will go to Rainbow City to participate in the expert pharmacist assessment. If it's just a casual test and experience, it doesn't matter, but judging by Eminem's appearance, he really wants to hit the expert level. So, these 4 months, isn't it mainly about preparing for the pharmacist exam? The newcomer period of the major leagues is still very important. Not only are there various benefits of free board and lodging at the Pokémon Center, but more importantly, only newcomers who travel for the first year can participate in the newcomer competition of the league competition. Since we chose to receive the illustrated book in March, we should aim at the newcomer competition in the Johto area, right? Shinichi speculated from the side point. The Quartz Alliance is the only alliance that manages the 2 regions, and its headquarters are located on the Silver Mountains in the Quartz Plateau between the 2 regions. The Kanto and Johto areas are indeed the only 2 major areas that are adjacent. There is a vast and fertile no man's land between other areas, even if it is SYNOPSIS, which is on the same continent as Kanto and Johto. The area is also far away from Kanto because of the barriers of the Shianguan Mountains and the Silver Mountains, and basically it can only travel by air. In contrast, although there is also the Silver Mountains between Guandu and Chengdu, if you take the southern waterway, you only need to pass through the Dacheng waterfall point. The trainers in the 2 regions of the Quartz Alliance are also the most convenient to communicate with each other. Even the rookie competition is separated from the 2 regions, and the Quartz Alliance tournament is held together regardless of the capital or city point. The rookie competitions held by each of them are also staggered as far as possible. The Kanto rookie competition is held in September, while the Chengdu rookie competition is held in March. The Quartz Alliance also registers newcomer trainers twice a year. Generally speaking, those who want to participate in which side will receive the illustration book in the corresponding month so that they have a whole year to prepare. Temporarily, I want to try it all. Eminem's tone was very modest, but his words were a bit evil and wild. There is a strict rule in the newcomer competition. Among the participating Pokémon teams, at least 5 must be captured locally. If they all participate, it is equivalent to only half a year of training time, which is half less than other newcomers. Even during the Alliance competition, although there are no hard and fast rules, they generally consciously maintain a certain proportion of locally captured Pokémon. Otherwise, not only will it appear that I have a low EQ, but it will also be regarded as a provocation, and then will be deliberately sniped by local trainers. Then, you have to work hard. Zinai encouraged without much sincerity. What do you think is an excellent trainer? Eminem asked suddenly. Just now Eminem was thinking about this question. After he became a trainer, the beast trainer profession was not directly completed and promoted. Obviously he was not considered an excellent animal trainer. However, compared with the performance of the previous sequence, this condition is obviously a bit vague. An excellent trainer? Get everyone's approval? Xiaolan guessed. You have to enter the official game of the league, right? Yuanzi put forward a more pragmatic standard from the side point. Eminem felt a little uncomfortable. Obviously, these were their own standards, not a customary definition. If you think you are an excellent trainer, then please think about it first. Have you ever won a championship or attracted a beast to follow you? Shinichi suddenly said something that seemed to be borrowed. After a pause, Shinichi added, "This is what Mr. Dandy, the champion of the Gala League, said when he won the Masters 3 years ago. No, that's just that Mr. Dandy wants to persuade everyone not to be arrogant. It doesn't really have such a high standard. Yuanzi immediately denied it with a stretched voice. Shinichi spread his hands and said, "It's not what I said." Emma was lost in thought. The champion of the Galar Alliance. This kind of statement means that it is not referring to the champion of a certain competition, but the name of the nominal supreme leader of the alliance. Dandy's words are of course intended to advise some trainers to guard against arrogance and impetuosity and maintain a learning attitude. But if this kind of saying is really popular, according to the urinating nature of acting promotion, maybe it really needs to be. Eminem just wants to say Mr. Dandy, can you not blah blah. Note 1. The 9th generation is about to come out, and the number of Pokémon will definitely exceed 1,000. And if the writing is long, it may catch up with the 10th generation. So even if there are not some mythical beasts in the illustrated book, it is still 1,000 plus of. Chapter 6. The ability of the beast trainer. Oki Research Institute. Point in his room, Eminem used the Pokémon Pokédex to send a video phone to Sangzao Town. Is this the Pokémon Center? Ah, it's Dr. Roki's Research Institute. I heard Grandma mention it before. Did you eat on time at night, King Mui? What are you talking so much about with that brat? Today is March 10th, and by this time next year, if he hasn't got 8 badges, he can basically recognize the reality and come back to be a drug boy. Sister King Mui was concerned about whether Amu was out alone and whether she had eaten on time, while Grandma Leixi still spoke sarcastically. Eminem accepts both ways of caring. After the phone call, Eminem released the frog seeds he had just obtained in the room. 8 badges, which is the standard for participating in the rookie competition. In fact, not so many people can get it in the first year. Generally, before the age of 25. One can get 8 badges, even if one has the talent to be a professional trainer. However, although there are no examples of late bloomers, but, generally speaking, if you are 25 years old and do not have the strength to get 8 badges, you must consider changing your career. As for Eminem, of course, he must also refer to his talent as a pharmacist, reaching the expert level at the age of 18. In terms of trainers, if you can't even participate in the regional rookie competition, what is the difference between it and a waste? As for the so-called badge, it refers to a kind of certification obtained after challenging the gymnasium. Of course, unlike animations and games, it is not to challenge the owner himself to get the badge. Otherwise, the owner of the gymnasium will come here regardless of whether he is busy or not, and he can only select 8 owners to participate in the competition. This is to underestimating the owner of the official gymnasium. Although there are not only 8 official gymnasiums, the gymnasium owners who can obtain the official gymnasium qualification have more than 1 king level Pokémon. In the entire Kanto region, there are not 1,000 gyms, but 800, generally recruiting students to make a profit and also to promote their own training style. Many retired trainers open gyms. However, those qualified as official gymnasiums are always controlled at 50, and each city or small town has at most 1 official gymnasium. These 50 official gymnasiums are eligible to issue badges. As for the standard for issuing badges, each gym is different, but the same thing is the more badges you get, the higher the difficulty. For example, if you don't have any badges, when you go to challenge the first gym, most of them will send some beginners from the gym to compete with you. The first few badges are issued in a very streamlined manner. However, the difficulty is increasing, and some responsible hall owners may personally test the challenger for the 8th badge. Of course, they will definitely not try their best. In addition to competition registration qualifications, the number of badges is related to many aspects of authority. There are more than 8 at most among the 50 official gymnasiums. 22 of them can grant up to the 10th badge. Only when challenging the 10th badge, the gym owners will go out to challenge, because the 10 badges are already related to some important access to protected areas. In addition, there are 20 gymnasiums with the authority to issue the 11th badge, and the 8 most important gymnasiums with the authority to issue the 12th badge are located in the 6 major cities and the central city of Yuhang. city, and Harnglian town, which is an overseas big island. 12 badges are already the conditions for competing for the 4 Kings of the Alliance, and even the championship of the Alliance. Point of course Eminem wants to participate in the Pokémon Rookie Tournament, and if there is no accident, Eminem wants to participate in the 2 Quartz League games within 1 year. Of course, Eminem has no idea whether he can win the championship. I have the ability of beast trainer, but among the trainers in this world, there are many talents with various functions, and there is no shortage of geniuses. Although it is a rookie competition, the threshold for participating is not low. The 8 badges can only be obtained if all the main teams have reached the competition level, and even 1 or 2 elite level Pokémon. Note 1. The number of 8th badges issued by each gym each year is generally only 1 or 2. Gymnasts with stricter cards may not even give out an 8th badge for a whole year. The number of people participating in the rookie competition with badges is generally limited to 30 or 50 people. Of course, the first badge is still very easy, and generally only 2 Pokémon are assessed, especially after Eminem prepared to head north to Togepi City. The official gym there is ground type, and his 2 Pokémon are both grass type, so there must be no problem getting the first badge. Eminem also decided to train the newly obtained Mire seeds, Tanatane. The frog seed is still very eye-catching to Eminem. After putting his hand on the head of Mire frog seed and letting it rub for a while, Amu said, "Little Mire frog seed, let me give you a name. How about calling it Us1 inside the tower?" Mire frog seed paused. Seeing that it was very satisfied, Eminem felt relieved and let the egg out. Lion, amen. You will be my main force in the future. You must get along well." Then Eminem started his own training, and he didn't need to go to the training ground. He could just stay in the room and there wouldn't be much movement. I saw Amu put his hand on the top of Aswan's head, and after a burst of invisible power fluctuations, Aswan also closed his eyes, and when he opened them again, it seemed very deep, at least compared to Pokémon's simplicity in terms of eyes. It is now considered profound. Beast Tamer, able to share senses with Pokémon, and have the ability to tap Pokémon's potential. Eminem has tried it on our men before. The so-called shared senses will produce an effect similar to Ghost upper body after being stimulated to the extreme. The Ghost refers to Eminem himself. At this time, his mastery and understanding of Pokémon's body is like his own body. Emu's body was half kneeling and touching the head of the frog seed, and the frog seed, who was uppered by a ghost, took a few steps back at this time, and then jumped left and right in the room. Amu tried it out, and the movement of the frog seed's body. Sure enough, in all aspects of attributes, it is still much worse than our men. After all, by human measurement, Eminem's balls are already over 20 levels, while the Bulbasaur is only level 5. Pokémon only has the concept of evolution, not upgrades, but for the convenience of statistics, the major leagues there is a set of general measurement methods that can measure a level for Pokémon. Even race values and individual values have a statistical number. Note 2, of course, this is not that Pokémon really have this kind of data. It's just a statistical method of human wishful thinking. Except for the mythical beast, the setting of the race value is similar to what Eminem knows, and the mythical beast, most of them are unknown, and a very small number of young beast cubs who have a lot of contact with humans, such as Leixi in the water capital, are also above 1200. At this time, under the senses of Pokémon, Eminem can feel the power gradually accumulating, as if there is an energy tank that is constantly pouring in, and when it is full, he can use skills. It is true that when Pokémon are fighting, they use such a mechanism. After they are ready, they can use powerful skills, and during the preparation process, they also need to use various non-skill ordinary attacks to fight each other. It's not really like the turn-based in the game, just stand stupidly when you are not using skills. But it is more like the battle process in the animation. The speed in the racial value, defined by humans, is more inclined to be the speed of this kind of energy slot accumulation, or skill preparation, rather than the speed of movement. Although generally Pokémon with fast energy accumulation speed are not slow, but it is not completely proportional. For example, Kanto's signature quasi-god Pokémon Quick Dragon claims to have the fastest flying speed among non-mythical beasts. There is a king level fast dragon that can circle the Earth in only 16 hours, breaking the record. But the accumulative speed of the energy tank is also very fast. It's just a faster level, so Kualang's speed race value is set at 80. There is still a big gap between the race value and fastest point. After experiencing the basic state of the Myowa seed, it is the most important. Possess the ability to tap the potential of Pokémon. In this state, Eminem can tap the power hidden in the genetic factors of Pokémon. In layman's terms, Eminem can awaken all genetic skills of Pokémon. Note 1. Tournament level refers to Pokémon with an estimated combat power of 15,000 or more. In addition, Elite level 30,000 combat power, Quasi King 50,000 combat power, and King level 60,000 combat power. See Note 2 for the specific combat power measurement method. Point Note 2. This article assumes that Pokémon itself is not data-based. But humans have their own measurement methods, so there are racial values and individual values. The race value is the normal one kind of Pokémon race value, that is, the number that everyone can see in the game. The individual value is expressed as a fluctuation, based on the race value, expressed in the form of a percentage, such as +3%, -2%. In addition, there is a growth value, that is, the effort value in the game, which is also reflected in the form of a percentage point. The difference between individual value and growth value is that the former can be inherited, while the latter is purely acquired through hard work. Point combat power is level * race value, and on this basis, calculate the percentage increase or decrease of individual value and growth value. For example, the standard growth of a quasi-sacred beast is 600. Race value *100. Level equals 60,000. Combat power, that is to say, reaching the level of a king. Point in addition, after level 50, attribute LV, characteristic LV, etc. will be added, and the calculation method of fixed increase in combat power will be discussed at that time. Point in general, the settings in Dimensional Forum are used, but there are further precise settings. Chapter 7 Journey Planning. Amu worked hard for more than 2 hours, and when our lion was about to exhaust his physical strength, he finally awakened a strong whip in the fourth dominant position of the double helix of the gene. The first 3 positions are our lion had, bump, scream, and vine whip. Before. Point Pokémon skills all come from genetic awakening. Point it can be roughly divided into 3 categories. One category is a skill that will naturally awaken as one grows up, that is, skills that will be acquired when the corresponding level reaches a certain level. The second category is skills that can stimulate awakening through learning, that is, corresponding to the skills that can be learned. Note that it is only stimulating awakening, that is to say, each Pokémon has fixed skills that can be learned theoretically. If you are poor, you may not be able to learn skills that can be learned in theory, but no matter how good your aptitude is, you will not be able to learn skills that are not genetically available. The third category is inherited skills. Some skills of the parent may be passed on to the offspring. Generally, this situation can be seen shortly after the Pokémon hatches, and Eminem's current ability corresponds to the third category. In theory, Eminem could inspire any theoretically heritable skill. After all, after many generations, basically all heritable skills are in the genes of Pokémon, but they are in an unactivated state, the normal part of the genes. If they are not activated at birth, will never be activated. Point however, as an animal trainer, you can tap the potential of Pokémon, but it only takes time. For example, Eminem just inspired a strong whip. Now. Point our lion also consumed a lot of physical strength, but after learning or awakening new skills, our lion looked very excited. Point for this skill, Amu is not going to waste too much energy on a lion. You don't need to practice too much. Our strength is not on the side of physical attack, whether it is the Myofrog seed or the Myofrog flower that has evolved to the end. It is better at special attack, but the physical attack is not low. Most of the Usangia are like this, and the difference between physical attack and special attack is often not big. Point however, Arswan's individual value, on the whole, is as high as nearly +8%. This is what Eminem directly felt when he ghosted just now, and it is more accurate than any other measurement. Point generally speaking, the individual value fluctuates from -10% to +10%. The closer to 0, the more, and the closer to +10% are very few. Point Dr. Oki said that our lion is a specially reserved high quality frog seed, and Eminem quite agrees with this, plus 8% is overall. In detail, Ali's physical attack tends to be weakened, and his special attack tends to be greatly enhanced. Therefore, Eminem must cultivate it in special attack, of course. Our lion is only at level 5 now, so the difference between physical attack and special attack is not that big, and powerful whiplash is a skill with extremely high damage in physical attack, and the effect of using it must be outstanding. In terms of human statistics, Strong Whip has a power of 120, compared to the basic version of Vine Whip, which has a power of only 35. If Dr. Oki saw that our lion had awakened Strong Whip, he would be shocked too, but the skills are not many, but the essence, not to mention Strong Whip, is still a physical attack skill. The number of skills that Pokémon can learn is not fixed, but the genes awakened after learning are still recessive, and there are only 4 dominant genes. The special abilities of some trainers, or their own powerful Pokémon, can break through the limit and add 1 or 2 skill slots. According to legend, some top trainers can make a certain department or a certain type of skills, unlimited explicit performance. But this has nothing to do with newcomer trainers, or even most trainers. These 4 positions can be adjusted, that is, replaced with other skills. But skill adjustment takes a certain amount of time. Without activating skills, although it is possible to make actions such as peck, bite, or even sprinkle pollen, but without the energy blessing of skills, pollen cannot transform into hypnotic and paralyzing effects. Class effect. Now the frog seed only has 4 skills in total, so naturally there is no need to consider these, but when there are more skills in the future, the 4 that can be shown must be selective. It doesn't take too long to adjust the skills, a few hours can be enough, but in battle or competition, it is definitely too late, and you can only use the 4 pre-selected skills after simply training a lion in his own unique way. You use the time before going to bed to read a book for a while, and then went to bed at 10 o'clock. At 6 o'clock the next day, I woke up early, and after I was going to have breakfast, I said goodbye to Dr. Oki. After that, Eminem will also embark on his own journey. Morning, Mew. Yuanzi greeted Mew in the cafeteria of the research institute. Morning. Seeing this, Mew pretended not to see it, and went to other tables. There was bacon on the plate for breakfast. There were common animals in this world. 2. As soon as Mew sat down with the dinner plate, Yuanzi asked without looking outside, "You are going to Rainbow City in 4 months. What about now?" "I plan to go north first, pass Maple Leaf Town, and then head towards Viking City," Eminem said honestly. Maple Leaf Town. That's right, there are sometimes leaf stones there. The Viridian Forest is also a good place for you. Ever since he knew that Mew was a pharmacist, Sonoko had tacitly assumed that he was a grass-type trainer. Eminem didn't deny it either. Of course, Viridian Forest cannot be said to be on the edge of Viridian City. It can only be said Viridian City is on the edge of Viridian Forest, because the area of the Viridian Forest is very large, from Mount Tsukumi in the north to the seashore of Kanto Bay in the south. Ujian Mountain is the intersection of Shianguan Mountain Range and Beiyin Mountain Range. It is almost a branch of the 2 mountains squeezed out by the crustal changes, and it is almost in the northernmost part of the Kanto area. Only Nabi City and its surrounding areas in the northern valley are further north than Mount Tsukumi, so the Viridian Forest can be said to occupy the center of the entire Kanto Point together with Mount Tsukumi in the north and Kanto Bay in the south. Kanto is divided into East and West Kanto Point. However, due to the rich resources of the Viridian Forest, many places on the periphery are not uninhabited areas. There are also some small towns within the forest range, but there are no metropolises. When trainers in other regions hear about Kanto, the Viridian Forest is often the first thing that comes to mind. The strongest trainer talent considered by Kanto trainers is named Forbidden Power, an ability that can communicate with Pokémon and speed up training and healing injuries. Since it is a forest, natural bugs and grasses are the most. Aren't you going to school in the future? Eminem also asked casually. From the previous few words, Eminem learned that the 3 of them should still be in school and belong to the academy style trainers. That's right. But now that Didn has reformed its educational system, the high school has not only extended its long vacation, but also turned most of its courses into video teaching. As long as you go to any one of the 6 metropolises every month, you can take the exam and take the offline courses that must be done. Lectures are enough, and everyone is encouraged to travel. Yuanzi explained. The higher department of Emperor Pill. Amu secretly thought that the name has not changed point, but Yuanzi said at this time, that's right. It's the schools opened by Lord Dandy in various places. Lord Dandy is so handsome. It's just a pity that he is a bit older, slim, shady. Didn was opened by Emperor Dan. Okay, it makes sense. Point obviously Dandy wanted to use this to combine the academic school and the travel school. As the leading trainer today, Dandy is more concerned about cultivating the next generation. It's a pity that we have to go directly to Tokyo City in the future. After all, we have to go to class for a few days at the end of each month, so we can't go together. Sonoko said familiarly. Point. Although they were all going north to Tokipan City, Yuanzi and the others obviously didn't want to delay on the road their dream shouldn't be, to be a professional trainer, and they wouldn't stay in the wild for too long. Point. Eminem doesn't really want to drop by. After all, the security level will drop sharply in places where Zin haunts. Well, I will also go to Tokyo City in the future. Maybe we can meet again then. Eminem said politely. Vikipan City, also known as Evergreen City, is one of the 6 major cities in Kanto. After breakfast, the 4 of them were about to go to see Dr. Oki to say goodbye, but at this moment, be careful. Sorry, I'm in a hurry. I saw a young man wearing a red cap running around the research institute in a hurry, and even rubbed Eminem on the shoulder looking at the back of the other party. Amu was in a daze, as if he had guessed something. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 8 The Boys of Zenxin Town. No way. Who made you come late? But I still have one Pokémon left here, but there are some problems. Everything is fine. Please, doctor, this is Pikachu. Pikachu? So cute. This is obviously great. You have to be careful. Look, Pikachu is a shy and introverted Pokémon who doesn't get close to humans, especially this one. If you touch it without permission, it will look like this. When Eminem and Sonoko came to the doctor's main research room again, they saw the boy who had just passed each other being electrocuted by a Pikachu with 100,000 volts, so that his hair stood on end point. But although this is scary, even Shinichi has no intention of going over to check the corpse. First of all, the human beings in this world have such unscientific resistance. Although their strength is not worth mentioning compared to Pokémon, not only are they highly resistant when they are attacked by Pokémon, but they also have high resistance when falling from high altitudes and deep sea pressure. The harm to humans is also small, unless it is maliciously attacked by Pokémon with murderous intentions. Secondly, 100,000 volts is just a name, just like splitting Huashan Mountain with power. Cannot split Huashan Mountain. 100,000 volts does not really have a voltage of 100,000 volts. Amu, who was inexplicably familiar with the scene in front of him, also looked at Damu suspiciously at this time. Originally, Eminem thought that Zyos's plot might not happen. After all, March 1st to 10th are the deadlines for receiving. How could he be late? And the number of Usangia is fixed, so there may be no choice if you come late. But how could there be one less? It turned out that this product didn't arrive until the 11th. Eminem didn't understand what was going on in this scene, but he only knew that Dr. Oki must be opening the back door again. Otherwise, you'll have to wait until next year. Dr. Oki was about to persuade Point, but Zyossi still hugged Pikachu who had just shocked him, and was still disgusted at this moment. It's okay. It's decided to be it. Pikachu, let's get along well in the future. As Zyossi spoke, he was shocked again. It seems that even the 16-year-old Zyossi still looks like this. You ready to travel? Dr. Oki greeted Eminem and others. Seeing that Dr. Oki didn't care much, Eminem and Shinichi were also convinced that the shock should not kill anyone. That's right. Thank you for your care. In the future, please also. Eminem said very politely. Point indeed. I will also ask you in the future. The elf balls in this world have a magical power, and it is said that they are processed from a fruit point. After resonating with the spiritual power of human beings, it seems that another world can be connected, and Pokémon can be temporarily included in it, but this connection has a limit point. Once there are more than 6, people will start to be mentally ill, and overloading will cause frequent accidents in the elf ball. So after getting the 7th elf, they will be sent to the Bound Research Institute or foster house for foster care instead of continue to collect in the Pokeball point. Zinai and Zialan are at Dr. Alla's place, and Yuanzi is big enough in his own house, and the foster care place where Eminem is bound is Dr. Roki's place. You're welcome. I'm going to Rainbow City in 4 months. Come on. Dr. Oki encouraged. Point after that, Damu also looked at the other 3 people. I know you two. You two don't want to be trainers. Sonoko pretended to be silly and cute, while Shinichi laughed. However, no matter whether you want to be detectives or anything else, Pokémon are the most important companions and assistants of human beings. Traveling is not harmful to you. And, Xiaolan, I think you are very a talent in the fighting department, may really be able to become a fighter trainer. Where, you are too much. Xiaolan quickly became humble. Point Shinichi whispered to the side. I think so too. Well, Eminem actually thinks so too, because fighting trainers in this world are indeed generally good at fighting, or being able to fight itself is a necessary condition for becoming a fighting trainer. Just like the trainers of the superpower department, they generally have superpowers. If you want to rank the combat power of the trainers themselves, 9 of the top 10 in Kanto should be fighting, generally speaking, although trainers of the superpower, ghost, and fairy types generally have some special abilities. They can generally only make the Pokeball float on the palm of the hand, or use all the strength to slowly use it. The level of mental strength to bend soft metal spoons and the like really requires a trainer to fight one-on-one, and a big kick from the fighting department will kick their faces. Of course, there are exceptions, such as Golden City's Super Queen Nazi. 9 out of the top 10 are from the fighting department, but the number 1 is definitely Nazi. Are you also this year's rookie trainers? Haven't seen you before. Are you from outside? I'm Zyozzy from Zenxin Town, and I will become the greatest Pokémon trainer in the future. Let's have a battle first. How about it? At this time, Zyozzy finally recovered from the electric shock and came over to say hello to Eminem and the others and proposed a fight. I think you'd better finish the battle with Pikachu first. Sonoko complained directly. That's right. I also think that the tacit understanding between me and Pikachu will start from the battle. Zyozzy obviously didn't understand Yuanzi's meaning. This Pikachu. Eminem looked at it carefully and moved closer. Pick up. It can be seen that Pikachu also showed some resistance and guard against Eminem's approach, but much better than Zyozzy's situation. After all, Eminem has an average to above average favorability for all Pokémon. Point if this shy, unfriendly Pikachu usually has a -10 to 3 favorability for first time humans, Eminem should be 1 or 2. It seems very powerful. Eminem said inexplicably. Point it's true that Eminem didn't see how powerful it was, but that's what makes it so powerful. After all, Pikachu's record in the animation should not be underestimated. The premise is to only watch the highlight moments. That's right, although the level is only about level 8, but I have already learned 100,000 volts. It is considered a very qualified Pikachu, but it is more difficult to train than ordinary Pikachu. Maybe you need an electric heart. Oki the doctor guessed at this time. Point the heart of electricity is also a special talent, as the name suggests. It is a trainer talent of the electric system, and the more famous one in the same series is Heart of Dragon, which is the ability of Adu, one of the 4 heavenly kings of Chengdu. Point Eminem doesn't think so, and what he said very powerful is not the level of learning. 100,000 volts at level 8. How about we have a battle? Seeing that Eminem was interested, Zyozzy immediately asked, it's Okay, it just so happens that I just received my frog seed. Eminem instinctively felt that it would be even worse to send out the crushing eggy. Then, come on. Doctor, can you be our F3? Ozzy said enthusiastically and without looking outside. Okay. Dr. Oki also looked like he was really not busy. It's not a formal duel and we only use one Pokémon, so we don't need a special game ball. Eminem confirmed. Game ball? Ozzy showed a cute and puzzled expression. Slim Shady, you don't even know the game ball. Who is the time traveler between the two of us? Chapter 9, the first battle of the skin god. What? So it's a game ball? Of course I know. Ha ha ha. Ozzy pretended to be stupid and wanted to get away with it. Amu saw through his ignorance and pretended to understand. The game ball is a special kind of pokeball used in games. It can be loaded with multiple pokeballs. The biggest effect is that when a Pokémon is retrieved, it can be loaded at the same time. The land will release another Pokémon. This is the importance of knowledge. Now Eminem, a traveler, is explaining to the locals Ozzy what a game ball is. Then what if the Pokémon is retracted while avoiding the opponent's attack? Ozzy showed a surprised look. It's just to prevent some chicken thieves from doing this. Amu stared at Ozzy and said, well, the biggest effect is to prevent someone from delaying time and avoiding damage by changing Pokémon. Eminem looked at Pikachu at this moment. If it is the same as the animation setting, this skin god should hate the Pokeball very much. But, in this world, at least you must stay in the Pokeball during the game. I see. No wonder I saw it on TV. Ozzy muttered, as if he finally understood why everyone didn't need to retract the elves to avoid damage during the competition. And it's actually not easy to change Pokémon during battle, except for some special coordination skills. Otherwise, to take back Pokémon, the Pokémon must be ready to go. That is, it can be released. When using skills, the retracting function of the Pokeball can only take effect, or it can only take effect, when you have lost combat power and are unconscious. Amu felt that he must not even know this. Doesn't that mean that, if you take the initiative to change Pokémon, you will lose a skill? Ozzy looked shocked. Sonoko and Shinichi had rolled their eyes at the greatest Pokémon master in the future, and Zyadalan smiled awkwardly and politely. Is this common sense? Sonoko said directly. In addition, because it was hard to catch a novice, Yuanzi seized the opportunity and said ostentatiously, in official competitions, there is usually a mixed single even rule of 6 selections, 4+3, before the start of the game. Choose 4 of the 6 Pokémon you carry with you, and put them in the game ball, then start a single person doubles battle. Change Pokémon at will in the middle, and fight until all 4 Pokémon are on one side. Defeat. 2 points are awarded for each Pokémon defeated by the opponent in doubles. After the doubles, choose 3 more Pokémon, put them into the game ball, and start the singles match. That is, at least one Pokémon must play both singles and doubles trump card. Singles is also a battle until one side is completely defeated. For each Pokémon defeated by the opponent, 3 points will be accumulated, and the final score will be used to determine the winner. It's so complicated, it's better to play ordinary games. Ozzy muttered. Except for official games, the rules of general games will be simplified. The current duel between Eminem and Ozzy is not only unprofessional, but also 1vs1, so naturally there is no need for a game ball. At this time, everyone came to the simple battlefield outside the research institute. At this time, Amu released the wonderful frog seed. It's up to you. Our lion, Garlic. The wonderful frog seed roared. Huh. You got to know it very quickly. Dr. Oki couldn't help feeling emotional when he saw that the frog seed had recognized his new name, Pikachu. We can't lose either. Let's go. Ozzy commanded enthusiastically from the sidelines. TCH. Pikachu pouted and turned his head aside. Ozzy, hey, you don't want to lose, do you? Hurry up and play. Zhi hurriedly rushed forward. Pikachu didn't give face very much and turned to the other side again. But at this moment, Eminem's frog seed shouted excitedly, Garlic, Garlic, Garlic. Obviously, he hasn't gotten over the excitement of learning powerful skills last night. Seeing that the opponent was full of fighting spirit, Pikachu was provoked to stand on the stage, one-on-one. Rule: you can't change Pokémon, and the game begins. Dr. Oki simply acted as a referee. Pikachu, use 100,000 volts. ZOZHI directly commanded. Just now he also heard what Dr. Oki said. Point indeed, because both sides have prepared in advance. They are not just released from the Pokeball, so they are both in a state of ready to go. Point normally, when both players release Pokémon from the Pokeball and start a duel, the skill slots should be empty. TCH. Pikachu made a disdainful voice. Point apparently Pikachu doesn't listen to Zyos's command right now, and just uses a flash of lightning to use it. Point I saw a colorless, slightly bright halo rippling on Pikachu's body, and then the speed was astonishingly fast. Lion, bear with me. Mew reminded. Point this is not a turn-based system. The opponent, lightning flash, just let him hit it lightly first, under the pure power of its own life force, that is, the power of the normal system. The Pokémon using electric lightning will maintain a very high speed in a short period of time. Use electric lightning to hide the skill completely. Can achieve. After Amu reminded, Frogseed quickly became alert. While Pikachu first turned around Frogseed, the ultra high movement speed made it difficult for the Frogseed to lock onto the opponent, even if it was concentrated. In the end, it was hit hard by Pikachu from the side, and even turned over a little. Point from the perspective of other than skills, the actual combat ability of Bulbasaur is lower than that of Pokémon with the same theoretical combat power, because its size is indeed not good at fighting. No fangs and claws, no scales, and four limbs on the ground, with huge sepal bones on the back, a bit clumsy, and the efficiency of exerting body strength is low. In contrast, a yellow-skinned mouse like Pikachu is flexible. Fortunately, compared with the game, the Pokémon in this world generally have enhanced resistance to beating in battle, and it is not so easy to kill, or be killed. Point at this time, Pikachu's body is generally energy, just receding a little bit, but immediately in a jump, it rippling again, a flash of lightning. It's not that the skills are prepared so quickly, but a flash of lightning. This kind of preemptive skill in this world means that it can be used in advance when the skill gauge is not full, that is, it is not ready to go, and it will be compensated again after it is full. Pikachu is equivalent to a flash of lightning. Earlion, continuing to maintain this high speed. Point soon the wonderful Frogseeds ate again. Afterwards, Pikachu's speed finally returned to normal. Although it was still much faster than Frogseed, at least it wasn't as fast as it was in a flash of lightning, and after dragging Pikachu's flash of lightning, the panting Frogseed stood up, staring at the yellow mouse opposite with a pair of small eyes. Lion, let's do it. Strongly whip, Mew commanded. Dr. Oki was puzzled. Although this wonderful Frogseed is good, it should not have inherited strong whiplash. Could it be that Eminem made a mistake? Is it actually a rattan whip? At this time, two vines protruded from the sepal bone on the back of the Frogseed, and under the energy of the emerald green grass, the vine quickly swelled up, almost as thick as the legs of the Frogseed, and the bump on the top of the vine was half the size of the head of the Frogseed. Pikachu also froze for a moment. Point is this vine whip? Are you kidding? Chapter 10 Physical Attack Special Attack. I saw Eminem's Frogseed stretch out two huge vine whips, instantly engulfing the stunned Pikachu. Although Pikachu tried hard to break free, he couldn't do anything. Strong whip, a skill with a power of 120, generally even if there are learning conditions, requires a Pokémon of level 40 or 50 to master. Although this Pikachu's strength is stronger than that of Eminem's brilliant Frogseed, it can't get rid of such a strong skill. Point then I saw our Lion controlling this move, which seemed to be a bit reluctant. The two huge vines shook for a while, and then in order to avoid nights and dreams, our Lion immediately used another giant vine whip to slap Pikachu left and right a few times, and then flung it out. Point Pikachu was not only thrown off the field, but also fainted after struggling unwillingly. Pikachu. Seeing this, Zyossi hurried over to hug Pikachu. Pikachu lost its combat power, and Mew won. Dr. Oki immediately announced from the side, and then he also greeted Zyossi. Send it back to the research institute. There is a healing device here. It is normal for Pokémon to lose combat power, that is, Faint. In battle point there seems to be some kind of protection in this world. Generally, Pokémon will faint after losing a battle. Even in the wild, this faint will naturally wake up after a certain period of time point, as long as the tree fruit can be found in time. Even wild Pokémon have a high possibility of slowing down point in the case of human intervention. It is generally unlikely that there will be serious injuries and death, unless the other party is maliciously attacking and forcibly puts him to death, or the attacked party is too forceful and does not trigger a protective syncope point. However, this kind of situation is rare. After all, there are only a few situations where Pokémon prey on each other. Most Pokémon will not prey on Pokémon. Even if they are carnivorous, they will prey on ordinary animals. I have wound medicine here. Eminem immediately took out the spray type wound medicine from his backpack and threw it to Zyozzy Point. After losing the battle normally, they should be treated with drugs in time in the wild. If not, they should immediately find some berries to replenish their physical strength point. Not to mention, if you are in a town, just go to the Pokémon Center right away. Generally, no matter how small a Pokémon Center is, there will be at least one member of the Joey family. Of course, it is not enough to rely on only one Joey. There will also be many ordinary Pokémon doctors in the Pokémon Center. Joey is in charge to ensure the safety of some seriously injured points. Dr. Oki asked his assistant to help take care of Pikachu, and at the same time he said to Eminem, "Did you train this frog seed last night? I didn't expect that it really hit it off with you, and it awakened the genetic, strong whip, in one night." This kind of situation is still very rare. Generally speaking, inherited skills can be manifested shortly after birth. That's right, and I feel that I have a lot of training experience in this kind of skills. Eggy was also trained by me before awakening, primitive power, and moonlight. Amu said truthfully. Point. Although it is difficult to explain the matter of the path of God, there is no need to lie about his talent in trainers. After all, there are so many amazing trainer talents. What? There is such a talent. Wait for you to cooperate with me to check. Dr. Oki said in surprise. Point. I thought it was fate, but if Eminem's testicles are also like this, it must be Eminem's talent. However, Eminem's ability is obviously not something that can be found out by checking. The same is true for most trainer talents. After a few hours of delay, Dr. Oki didn't gain anything, but Eminem gained a free lunch point, and the three of Yuanzi have already set off first. Drive. Oki also took the opportunity to persuade Eminem. Although there is no fixed formula for the cultivation of Pokémon, it mainly depends on how well you adapt to Pokémon. But the choice of physical attack and special attack is best decided first. The training must be coherent and forward-looking. Apparently, Dr. Oki was worried because after Amu's frog seed awakened the hereditary, powerful Whiplash, Emu cared too much about the physical attack of frog seed. Point. Although it seems that physical attack is cheap now, the more his frog seed grows, the more it will show a tendency to special attack. Woot. Special double swords is also a training route, but it's better to plan ahead to avoid a dilemma in the future. Point. In particular, this wonderful frog seed is still of the type with extremely weak physical attack and strong special attack. Point. It is easy for novice trainers to misjudge the future growth of Pokémon and be too inclined to physical attack. It is true that special attackers are generally weaker than physical attackers in the early stages below the competition level. Physical attackers with the same combat power are generally better than special attackers in actual combat, because in the early stage of training, physical attacker means that the body is stronger, while special attacker is basically only powerful when using the corresponding skills, and this is not a turn-based game, and combat other than skills is also very important. And special attackers suffer a lot during this part. Point. But Amu immediately said after hearing the words, "Don't worry, doctor, I understand. I didn't pay much attention to strong Whiplash, and I will train our lions, flying leaf storm, petal dance, dirty Whiplash, as soon as possible. After that, mud attack." These special attack skills, Eminem is very humble, but he will show confidence invisibly as if saying, "I can pick these skills at will." Point. Drive. Oki just laughed heartily. It's good that Eminem understands this. As for whether he can train it, it's up to him. For other novice trainers, although the frog seed or the frog flower has a stronger special attack, it is not so easy. To take the route of a special attacker, the general physical attacker route requires more powerful Pokémon, while the special attacker route requires stronger mental power to manipulate energy. In terms of skills, some rely on strength, and some rely on spirit. If the frog seed takes the special attack route, not only will it be weak when it is outside of skills in the early stage, but it will also easily fall into the embarrassment of not having special attack skills. If the frog seed has no inheritance, no additional skills to learn, and only relies on the skills that are naturally awakened when it grows, only one is prone to special attacks. Level 36 can awaken Sunbeam, and if it evolves into Frog Flower, it is even more requires level 58 to learn. It is true that the Sunbeam is very strong, but it takes too long to accumulate sunlight, and it is not flexible tactically. As for the other attack skills, they are all physical attacks, that is. For a long time, no skills were available. However, Amu is not worried about this, and he is also ready to support our lion and get through the difficult early stage cooperating with his unique ability. At least our lion does not have to worry about lack of special attack skills in addition to skills. The more you grow, the more the gap between physical attack and special attack will be narrowed. Because a powerful special attacker can condense the energy of various systems, even when he is not using skills, and even move things with his mind, and control his own flight with mental power, and the Pokémon that needs to be a special attacker does not seem to be a drag other than skills, probably when the combat power reaches the competition level. Chapter 11 Encounter Alliance 200, March 16th. Today, our lion learned parasitic seeds, and the growth level should have reached level 9. As soon as Eminem set up the tent and started writing the diary, he heard a strange noise coming gradually. Seeing that it was already dark at this time, Eminem still sprinkled the dispersing powder around, which ordinary Pokémon don't like, and there was something approaching. Eminem immediately became alert, although Pokémon are generally not malicious. But, after all, it is under the premise of general there are some bad-tempered Pokémon that sometimes hurt humans. There are also trainers who die on the journey every year. It's just a matter of proportion. Eggy and Mio frog seeds were already outside, and at this moment they all looked warily at the direction of the sound. It's a big night, and I ignore the dispersing powder. Could it be a ghost Pokémon? Eminem is also a little nervous. Most of the time Pokémon won't hurt people, but there are always accidents among the various examples of harming humans. The number of occurrences of ghost type Pokémon should be second only to insect type among the 18 series, because even if they are not malicious, their special properties may harm humans. The ghost system, super energy system, dragon system, and fairy system are listed as the four most difficult to train. Because these four systems have the fewest trainers, and are also known as the upper four systems among the people. Without the corresponding talents, these four types of Pokémon are extremely difficult to train, and if the ghost type Pokémon is trained forcibly, there will be serious side effects. Without the talent of the ghost department, staying with ghost type Pokémon that is not close enough for a long time will imperceptibly damage the health of the trainer. This is not the malice of the Pokémon, but the natural erosion of the ghost type energy. Therefore, ghosts were feared by people in ancient times, and even trainers of ghosts were often gloomy, and they would be ostracized and persecuted in ancient times. But Eminem is just nervous now, not really worried. After all, the aptitude bestowed by the beast tamer on Eminem is already full of attributes. Although there is no extra bonus like various attribute talents, at least there is no need to worry about side effects. In addition, choosing the sequence of moon path twice in a row also made Eminem's trainer talents tend to be evil, ghost and fairy. After getting closer, Eminem heard that besides the sound of footsteps, there was also the sound of some kind of metal structure turning. Could it be steel type plus ghost type? A sword monster with a strong shield. Although it is on the same continent as SYNOPSIS, it is rare to see a family of sword monsters in the Kanto area. Right, I saw the bushes on the side. After shaking for a while, a large Pokémon with a strange appearance was revealed. The lower body of the silhouette looked like a human, and the upper body had two tires. Doesn't seem right. It can't be Grelurton or Militant, can it? Who is it? Amu flashed a flashlight. Of Pokémon that uses light directly to move at night. This is very amateurish, and it may irritate the other party. If it is a Pokémon However, Eminem had already seen something wrong from the outline before, and sure enough, when the photo was taken at this time, the other party's true colors were revealed. It was a young girl, carrying a bicycle. Ah. The girl exclaimed. She was also taken aback by being photographed suddenly. It scared me to death. It turned out to be the trainer. The girl breathed a sigh of relief after seeing it clearly. Ah. The practice of a combat trainer? Amu couldn't help but speculate as she watched her carrying a bicycle. I am not a combat trainer. My name is Zyraksha. Can you let me rest for a while? Zyraksha said to rest, but she kept looking at the electric heating pot beside her. Okay, if you don't mind, there are some instant curries. Amu was taken aback when he heard the name, but he didn't ask any further questions. Traveling trainers helping each other in the wild is an unwritten rule and a custom in the Pokémon world. Thank you so much, Zyraksha said quickly. Zyraksha seemed to have been tormented enough before, and after Amu heated up the instant curry and rice, she started to gobble it up. Although I don't know if this Zyraksha is Zyraksha, but it seems that she should be 1 or 2 years younger than Eminem, and it is likely to be the lower age limit for travel. That is to say, it should not be the house owner's design in the game. However, Eminem didn't ask too much, but was a little curious about her previous behavior of carrying the bicycle. The bicycles in this world are still quite advanced. Needless to say, they are light and foldable, and more importantly, they have excellent off-road performance. After all, there are vast wild areas, and bicycles have become a necessity for many trainers who do not ride Pokémon. If there is demand, they will naturally progress very quickly. Generally, unless it is an extreme terrain such as a swamp, or a place that is too steep, the bicycle can walk on the ground. But now Zyraksha's bicycle doesn't seem to be doing well. Ah. You attacked by a circle bear? Eminem asked curiously. In this area, the Pokémon that attack humans more frequently are the circle bear and the big needle bee. Big needle bee is a wild Pokémon, representative of irascibility and aggressiveness, strong sense of territory, coupled with a large number. Big needle bee can account for half of the various wild Pokémon attacks in Kanto, although the circle bear is a Pokémon registered in the Johto area, which is classified in the Johto illustrated book. But Kanto and Johto are so close, the wild local Pokémon of the two sides basically overlap, and the Pokémon registered in other areas are also. It's not that there are none, it's just a question of how many, and the circle bear is also very irritable, especially when raising baby bears. Looking at the various deformations of the bicycle, it is obvious that it was not stung by a needle bee. How do I know? It's really unlucky to say it. The day before yesterday, I met a kid wearing a red hat, snatched my bicycle and ran away. When I finally found it again, the car was already like this. I don't know how long it will be. Only then can I get to Changpan City. Can I repair it well? Zyraksha said angrily. Slim Shady, imp in the red hat? It sounds like a sense of delusion. Is it a red hat kid with Pikachu? Eminem confirmed. Ah, you know him? Can you help me find him when we get to Tokiwa City? Zyraksha asked him to pay for his bicycle. This, first of all, I don't have his contact information. I just played against him once before, and then he was in a hurry and forgot to add friends. You guessed that it was Zyraksha first. Zyraksha noticed Eminem's choice of words. Well, secondly, the current direction is to go to Maple Leaf Town. If you go to Maple Leaf Town, you can arrive tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. If you go to Vikatpan City, in the direction you came from, Zyraksha. Chapter 12 The Phenomenon of Juvenile Insect Catching. Early the next morning, Zyraksha consciously prepared breakfast. After learning that she was going in the wrong direction, Zyraksha was going to Maple Leaf Town to recuperate first, so she went with Eminem first. As a partner, of course, you have to share the obligation of labor. Let me introduce you formally. My name is Zyraksha, a water type Pokémon trainer. Now the main training Pokémon are gem starfish, and horned goldfish that are rarely released on land. Zyraksha introduced to Eminem. Fish-shaped Pokémon such as horned goldfish are undoubtedly the most unsuitable category for fighting on land. When on land, they have almost no combat effectiveness during the outside of skills time. The stinging jellyfish and the like can still use their tentacles as their feet. These fish-shaped Pokémon are called stranded. When they go ashore, Armu was a little surprised that Zyuxia didn't have Usangia point, although not all newcomer trainers have Usangia. No matter what kind of persona Zyuxia is set up, it doesn't seem like a talent who is short of money. My name is Eminem. I studied pharmacy for several years, and I only started traveling this year. Eminem didn't say what his attributes are, but he introduced the Pokémon I'm training, two of them. When she saw M's balls, Zyuxia was still a little surprised. It's balls. In addition to grass attributes, there are also superpower attributes. It's not easy to train, right? After hearing pharmacy, Zyuxia also automatically regarded Eminem as a grass type trainer. I belong to the type that won't be hated by any attributes. Speaking of the second attribute is the superpower system. Isn't your gem starfish too? Eminem explained tentatively. Gem starfish is also water plus super energy. It is true that the superpower department is one of the four most difficult to train and the rarest talents. Generally, superpower trainers have some superpower talents themselves. The official caliber is that there is no distinction between strong and weak attributes. The one that is suitable is the best. However, folks inevitably have the idea that rare things are more valuable. The most rare superpowers, ghosts, dragons, and fairies are called the upper 4 series. The most common 6 series water, fire, grass, land, insect, and general are called the basic 6 series. Generally speaking, these 6 series Pokémon will not hate trainers because of inconsistent attributes. It's still a little different, isn't it? Gem starfish, I'm only training with water type talents. It may be difficult for your grass type to switch to superpower type, but the poison type that comes with the frog seed should be able to switch smoothly. Although Zyuxia is 2 years younger than Eminem, she considers herself a senior in terms of trainers. Steering? Is it the so-called devolution? Eminem asked enthusiastically. Why don't you even know this? Zyuxia looked puzzled. I was basically self-study by reading books before, and I didn't have much contact with books other than official guidebooks. Eminem understands the principle of laying the foundation point in this regard. Official books rarely mention it, probably because of the unknown official guidebook, although simple, but for accuracy and basics, do not write more. If you are not sure, don't worry about learning biased. In contrast, there are still many unsolved aspects of Pokémon training, and this is a living space of each genre. For the same phenomenon and theory, different genres may have different explanations. The official book of the Alliance does not venture into these uncharted territories. What Zyuxia is talking about now, the phenomenon that the official name is Yanjin, is a kind of saying that is popular among the people, but the official does not mention it much. The core of the theory is the attribute tendency of the trainer. In addition to being born with it, there will also be a process of self-evolution. Did you only study in the academy before? No. There are many people in the academy who would say this in private. Zyuxia looked at Eminem wonderingly. Well, I studied with my grandma and sister in a small backwater town. Eminem explained. Zyuxia, who is good at being a teacher, became even more interested when she heard what he said and immediately preached to Eminem. Although it has not been officially recognized, the term Yanjin is very popular among the people, and this phenomenon does exist, but because the specific principle is not clear, it is not in the official textbooks. For example, fire trainers, after comprehending the wildness of fire, have the opportunity to gradually awaken the talent of electricity. Water system trainers have the opportunity to turn to ice system after comprehending the tranquility and the flow of water. After the grass trainer understands the death corresponding to vitality, he can wake up the poison. In Zyuxia's view, Eminem already has grass talent, and frog seed is grass plus poison. Naturally, it is easy to take advantage of the trend and get poison talent, becoming a trainer with both grass and poison. In contrast, trainers are only satisfied with one type of dual type Pokémon. Although it can be trained, as long as the intimacy is high enough, it is worse after all. For example, it is more difficult for Zyuxia to train Gem Starfish to learn superpower skills. In addition, the ground system trainer will awaken the rock system when he understands the powerful and heavy in the thickness of the earth, and the steel system will awaken when he understands the indestructible. After the insect trainer comprehends the meaning of fear contained in the insect system, he can switch to the evil system, and by using the flying insects in the insect system, he can switch to the flying system, general type. Trainers. After becoming able to fight, they will be able to control the fighting type. These 8 lines that can be derived are also the 8 lines of advancement. Of course, the basic 6th line, the advanced 8th line, and the upper 4 line are all folk sayings, and the official always emphasizes that there is no distinction between high and low attributes, as for the upper 4 lines, there are more ways of evolution, but there are fewer examples of successful proofs. The more mainstream theory is that one can awaken the ghost system by further understanding the transformation of death and life cycle from the poison system. It is easier to switch to the super energy from the evil department, which is also a spiritual type, the sum of the 4 natural energies of water, fire, grass, and electricity is the dragon element. In addition, some people say that it is easier to switch to the dragon type from the flight type. Zyarksha introduced point as for the fairy type. It is really basically born point. On the contrary, it is generally easier for the trainers of the goblin system to enter and exit the super energy system. Of course, what can be confirmed at present is that this kind of evolution phenomenon does exist. It is true that grass type trainers in the later stage also have poisonous type talents, but in principle it is just a guess, and it does not matter whether it has anything to do with comprehension. Of course, there's no need to deliberately pursue attributes, and it doesn't mean that the 6 basic elements are weak. Zyarksha seemed to be a little emotional when she said this, but the truth is true. Some trainers may have become kings of the flying department, and they don't have the talent of the dragon department. Point and talent belongs to talent. The most important thing in training Pokémon is bond, that is, the so-called intimacy point. The most obvious phenomenon caused by this theory of evolution is that the insect line has become popular among teenagers because, theoretically speaking, bug trainers may become rare trainers of dragon and superpower systems in the future. Point. Although this probability is very small, and the Alliance has always taught the new generation of trainers that there is no need to pursue rare attributes, and there is no distinction between any attribute, but teenagers don't always listen to persuasion. It is inevitable that there will be thoughts of rare things are more valuable and I'm the chosen one. Therefore, among the teenagers, there are the most bug trainers, and they are called bug catchers. Phenomenon. Eminem discovered this before. Traveling trainers, especially novice trainers, are easily harassed by bug catchers when they are near towns. Chapter 13. Serious Eminem. Outside the forest near Maple Leaf Town, Garlic. Use sludge bomb. Under the command of Mew, the frog seed stomped its front paws, and the sepals and bones suddenly flashed a dark purple brilliance, and then the energy of the poisonous system condensed into a slightly viscous mist. Garlic. Accompanied by the roar of the frog seed, a cloud of mud mist formed by the energy of the poison system sprayed out from the sepal bone and rushed towards Baydady not far in front of him. At this time, around the mouth of Baydady, the dark green insect energy formed a pair of fangs and strong jaws. He was about to bite towards the frog seed, but after being covered in sludge bomb, he was directly knocked down on the ground. He passed out with 2 sounds of who are Baydady. The little trainer on the side, exclaimed. Zyarksha announced at this time, Baydady lost his combat power, and Eminem won. Before the little trainer was about to take back Baydady, Eminem threw him a bottle of spray. You can use this to deal with it first. This is, thank you big brother. The little trainer was quite polite at this moment, and then shouted while running, Big brother, your wonderful frog seed is really powerful. I'm going back to town first. Judging by his age, he is probably a child from a nearby town, probably less than 16 years old, and not a formal trainer. After giving Baydady the wound medicine, he hugged Baydady and ran quickly towards Maple Leaf Town. Should still want to go to the elf center to see. Wait. Mew still wanted to ask him something, but he didn't have time. This is the 3rd one today, isn't it? Sure enough, it's another insect type. It seems that it's not far from Maple Leaf Town. Zyarksha said from the side. Around the town, there are often some underage teenagers who are also training Pokémon, and most of them are bug catching boys. They sometimes challenge passing trainers. For some novices, especially grass type beginners, it is still very challenging although they are some little kids, but the insect type evolves quickly and restrains the grass type. Grass novice can easily lose face in the hands of the insect catcher, but it's okay if you have the frog seed, because although the grass type of the frog seed is restrained by the insect type, the poison type has an additional resistance effect on the insect type, which basically offsets it. Counting from leaving Zenxin town, Eminem has been traveling for 7 days. He met Xyloxia the night before, and now he is close to Maple Leaf Town Point. In the past few days, Eminem has dug out all the skills in the inheritance of Dandan and Myowa Seed Point at the same time. The frog seed has grown to about level 10. 2 days ago, it awakened the parasite seed that could be awakened at level 9, but it has not yet awakened the flying leaf quick knife at level 12. At the beginning, Pokémon grew very fast under training, and it will slow down at about level 20, and then it is time to really test the results of training point. In fact, if you generally tame wild Pokémon, the growth level is more than 10 levels. However, Usangia is a unified cultivation of the Alliance, and the Pokémon distributed to newcomer trainers. When they are just received, they are often born not long ago and have just passed their infancy, so the level is very low, and it is also suitable for training and cultivating feelings. Wait for me first. Anyway, I will definitely be able to reach Maple Leaf Town today. Let me remember the battle just now. Amu said, while feeding the Pokémon cubes he had prepared before to restore his strength, and wrote by himself diary. You are really serious? The opponent is just a child. Xyloxia also admired it in her teasing point. It's easy for Eminem to settle down on the things he cares about, such as the previous pharmacy, such as the current trainer skills, such as the water drifting skills, that he worked hard to reach the 17th company, after losing the water drifting before crossing. Alliance 200, March 18th, continued. Today, near Maple Leaf Town, I met the third insect catcher point. Sure enough, there is no boy who started traveling, so he prefers insects. This time, our lion's opponent is a Baydady, which is estimated to be around level 12, which is the highest in these few battles. However, judging from the thickness of the antennae and the pattern of the wings, the individual value should be relatively low. After a comprehensive calculation, the combat power is only about 4600 to 4700 point now. According to the calculation of level 10, our lion has a theoretical combat power of 3500 and has mastered several powerful attack skills and has also specially trained fighting methods beyond skills. The actual combat power cannot be measured by combat power point. Although Baydady's attributes are dominant, Arswan still used the poison type bug bite directly after he resisted the wind rises once and took advantage of the second time the opponent was ready to attack. Sludge attack takes out the opponent. Eminem recorded the battle process and briefly analyzed the victory experience, but our lion is really powerful. Although the opponent is only a child, Butterfly is a Pokémon with 2 types of bugs and flying. The flying type should restrain the frog seed, and the butterfly just now used the Alliance's Pokémon. The way to calculate the combat power should be much higher than that of Ace 1, right? Xyloxia said, going over to pat Ace 1's head. Well, but it's not as big a gap as you imagined, and thanks to the butterfly, the flying skill that restrains the frog seed seems to only have 1 wind, which is not very powerful and very aggressive scattered type. Eminem emphasized objectively. Our lion not only has a high individual value, but also his growth value has been gradually trained by Eminem. Although it is not very high now, there are still plus 1% and 2%, and our lion has inherited so many skills. Xyloxia still doesn't know the advantage of arm usability and inheritance point. It is true that the sludge bomb just now is considered a meritorious service. Otherwise, if the frog seed only grows naturally, there is no effective skill that can beat Dady now. Baydady's flight type and insect type both have additional resistance effects on the grass type, and the power of the grass type can hardly hurt it. Of course, the restraint relationship in this world only occurs at the energy level. Regardless of the physical impact of any skill, it is equivalent to the power of a normal system. At this time, Eminem closed the diary and said with a sigh of relief, actually, there is nothing special. The biggest reason is that the other party is just a child who is not a trainer. There is still a lot of room for us to work hard. At the same time, he also encouraged looking at all iron who just 1 point. That's right. Under the coincidence of various factors, this duel with reverse attributes and backward combat power is only able to fight. What really sealed the victory was that after the Myo Frog Seed held up a Wind Riser, the opponent was clearly in a hurry and wanted to rely on a Bug Bite to decide the outcome. But Insect Bite is obviously not so easy to control for prodigy. This world is real, not a game, and after selecting a skill, judging the hit rate and dodge rate, you can decide whether to hit or not. Not only has the magical skill of quickly dodge, but also consider the anti-wave offset for long range attacks, and the issue of whether you can get close for melee attacks. Bug Bite is a melee skill, and Prodigy's small body just wanted to get close, but was taken away by a long-awaited Sludge Bomb from Myo Frog Seed. After fighting several bug-catching boys, Eminem understands the importance of the timing of skill release. As a trainer, knowing how to prepare the skills of his Pokémon is the foundation, and at the same time, the sooner the better. Eminem checked himself and felt that, although his record is not bad now, the inverse attribute defeated prodigy, whose combat power was 30% higher. If this record happened in a battle between elites, even if it was just a match level Pokémon, it can also be called a classic battle, but Eminem didn't think it was so commendable. Eminem commented on his training on the frog seeds. Nothing more than 2 points. One is to dig out all the skills that can be inherited, and the other is to accurately train the frog seeds in the battle flexibility to skill point. Then Armu pulled our men and our Lion to summarize the tactics, and then walked to Maple Leaf Town with Zyraksha. Maple Leaf Town is much bigger than Zengson Town, and because the town is adjacent to Hangai Mountain, it has a moderate tourism industry. Eminem didn't come here for sightseeing. First, he slept in sleeping bags and tents for several days, so he should have a good rest and get ready. Second, leaf stones are produced here from time to time. I hope there are leaf stones for sale in the town now, Eminem said expectantly. Leixi is not cheap. Let's go to Hangai Mountain to try our luck. Zyraksha looked at Eminem's equipment, and she didn't look like a rich person at all. Although, I don't have any money now. If I have Leixi, I can work on the spot for half a month. If you are in a hurry to go to Tokiwa City, don't wait for me. Zyraksha? Half a month? Have you misunderstood the price of the leaf stone? Chapter 14 Money. Leaf stone, a must for egg to evolve coconut egg tree. These evolutionary stones are generally priceless and have no market. Even if the technology and transportation in this world are very developed, all kinds of Pokémon related industries are very complete. However, evolutionary stones are still in the state of buyers are hard to find sellers, and sellers are hard to find buyers all year round. One is because the output of evolution stones is often not large, and there are not many Pokémon that need evolution stones. Second, there is no artificial production or stable collection method, which depends on luck. Third, evolution stones in this world has a strong timeliness, and the farther away from the place of production, the more likely to fail. Kanto can be regarded as the area with the largest production and trading volume of leaf stones over Lord Flower and Ashila. The two common Pokémon in the Kanto illustrated book in the Viridian Forest both need leaf stones to evolve. And at the same time Kanto also has Viridian Forest, a place rich in grass energy. However, because the location where the leaf stone is formed is not fixed, and it will turn back to an ordinary stone a few days after it is formed, it is difficult to form an industry. As a result, there is often no stable market for evolutionary stones. They are only occasionally traded in places where they are often produced, such as Maple Leaf Town. Do you have any misunderstanding about the price of the leaf stone? Although the price of evolutionary stones fluctuates greatly, if a deal is reached, the price generally fluctuates between 40,000 and 50,000 yuan. Even sometimes if it is too popular, it can exceed $1 million. Zyraksha emphasized. In terms of prices in this world, the most basic Pokémon wound medicine costs about 300 yuan in a regular store, about 200 yuan for an ordinary Pokéball, and about 500 yuan for a luxury meal in a fast food restaurant. In terms of income, white collar workers in the 6 major cities earn about 300,000 yuan a month, while ordinary people in other small cities and towns earn more than 100,000 yuan a month. However, if there is a skill, for example, a construction worker with an old builder, a housekeeper with a rotom, a programmer with a golden monster, who can fix bugs, the income must be several times higher than that of the peers. In contrast, Leixi is by no means cheap, but it's just a pain in the ass, just a few months' salary. After all, this thing has a limited validity period, and the seller should also consider that, if he is too greedy, he may get water from a bamboo basket. Didn't you say that I'm a pharmacist? As long as it's a normal price, I should be able to work hard for half a month. You said seriously no, even if you're a pharmacist, if you only do odd jobs for half a month, it's still too optimistic. Are you a third level or second level pharmacist? Leixi repeatedly denied. Level 1. Eminem said truthfully, how is it possible? Leixi was surprised at first with doubts, and then asked back, really? If she hadn't seen Amu's usual seriousness these 2 days, she must have thought that Amu was joking. Anyway, the certificate is first class. Eminem shrugged. You mean false certificate? Leixi's 3 views were shocked. In her impression, the professional level certificate of the Alliance is still very authoritative. No, what I mean is that the level should be expert level. Amu rolled his eyes. TCH. You are so good, why don't you take the expert test? Leixi felt that this sentence must be a joke. I signed up. There are still more than 3 months. Eminem said naturally. Leixi. People who usually look serious look like this, so that Leixi doesn't know whether what he said is true or not. But it should be true to have the qualification of a first-class pharmacist. It's said a first-level pharmacist can easily earn several $1 million a month. Leixi looked a little financially obsessed. It's not that exaggerated. It may be possible to be directly hired by those big consortiums, but now I can only buy raw materials from the Guradu store, then process them into potions, and then recycle them to the Guradu store to earn a difference. Guradu Group has a high market share in various resource commodities. Eminem reckons that, if he does it himself, if he works from 8 to 5 and takes a month off on weekends, he can still earn millions of dollars. After all, he has a first-class pharmacist certification, and the Gullah chain store will charge, but the profit must be relatively small. If you are a first-level pharmacist who runs a shop on the ground, has more stable and affordable purchase channels, hires 1 or 2 more people, and opens a shop to sell by yourself, it is not a problem to double your income by 1 or 2 in terms of income. If you give up freedom and accept the employment of a large consortium, you will actually earn more. However, for Eminem, who is traveling, there are only part-time jobs and being exploited by major chain Pokémon stores. That's right. It's said that the recycling price of the Guradu store is very low. Leixi also condemned the Guradu Group. After all, they mainly rely on their own production, and the acquisition is just incidental. Maybe they want the pharmacist to sell themselves to them? Eminem obviously has no idea of selling himself. Of course, this is a first level pharmacist, although Eminem is confident that he has an expert level, but after all, he has not yet been certified, and it is not convenient to find a channel for expert level pharmacy. Expert level pharmacists can not only use berries to configure potions for battle, but each expert often has his own special skills and unique skills. What's more, there are not 1,000 first level pharmacists in the entire Quartz Alliance, but there are hundreds of them, and there are only a dozen or so expert level pharmacists. It is not comparable to a first level pharmacist, to name a consultant casually, which can be called a qualitative leap. After Amu and Leixi arrived in Maple Leaf Town, they first came to the Pokémon Center. Although it is a small town, this Pokémon is not something that 2 or 3 people and a Joe at the front desk can handle. Not only is the area not small, but it also has 4 floors. The upper 3 floors are guest rooms for trainers to stay. Joe was nowhere to be seen at the front desk. This is the first time for Amu to open a room. Based on the idea of no shame in not knowing, Amu took the initiative to ask Xyloxia for advice. Sure enough, Xyloxia proudly showed Eminem what a veteran is and skillfully demonstrated the newcomer qualifications using the Pokémon Pokédex and the process of opening a room for free, although she has only just started traveling for less than 3 months. Your room is number 208. Take your room card. The staff at the front desk handed over the room card. Amu took it and asked, by the way, is there any leaf stone for sale in the town recently? Sorry, I'm not a trainer, so I don't know very well. The young lady at the front desk only gave a helpless smile. But at this moment, a trainer who also looked 17 or 18 years old behind him took the initiative to say, if you want Yuzushi, you can ask Old Man Yi for a try. He seems to have gotten a piece recently. If you make him pleasing to the eye, he will give it to you. It's just that he has a weird temper. Ask Old Man Yi. Amu was taken aback when he heard the words. The name seemed to be able to call 10 of them. Ask Yi. Xyloxia exclaimed in surprise, and when she saw Amu looking over, she immediately pretended not to know anything. Oh, what a strange name. Hehehe. Well, I live in the tree house on the east side of the town. After going out from the east exit, the tree is very conspicuous. The young trainer told Eminem the location of the other party. Eminem put the luggage in the room, and after washing up, he went to the east of the town. What he didn't expect was that Xyloxia also tried her best to follow, reminiscent of her reaction just now. It seems she knew something about Mr. Yi, but seeing that she didn't want to say anything, Eminem didn't ask any more questions, since she didn't even know that Old Man Yi was in Maple Leaf Town and was surprised. She probably just heard about it before. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 15, The Essence of Grass. Before Amu went to ask Old Man Yi, he also inquired about him. What did you inquire about just now? Xyloxia, who was traveling with her, also asked with some concern. I heard that the Old Man Wenyi has a weird temper. He seems to be a grass type trainer himself, and he understands the grass type very well. He can often find leaf stones and other things that are helpful to the grass type. I don't know why there is no gymnasium, but I occasionally come to Maple Leaf Town, invite some young grass type trainers, and then ask some strange questions. As long as the answer satisfies him, he will not hesitate to give gifts, including the valuable Yuzushi. Eminem told the situation he had mastered. It really is a weird person. Xyloxia seemed to be somewhat resistant to this Old Man Wenyi. Amu hopes that, if the Yuzushi is in the hands of someone who wants to cash out, then he will just work on the spot for half a month. But it doesn't matter how much money you make now. The other party is obviously a difficult old man. As soon as Mew and Xyloxia came out of the town from the east, they saw that special tree, which was not only huge, but also had many small Pokémon on it. A treehouse was propped up on the branches, and there were winding wooden ladders underneath. At this moment, a young man was thrown out of the treehouse with 1 foot bound by vines, and fell hard to the ground. But it's only 5 or 6 meters high. For people in the Pokémon world, falling from this height is equivalent to standing up and rubbing their waists. Get out. Rotten wood is hard to cut. What kind of grass are you still training? Shame on the grass. Curses were faintly heard in the room. What? This old guy. Why didn't you open an official gym? Because you are so good. After the young man stood up, he also cursed, but only whispered. Of course, the current Eminem also understands that this young man just messed up after being kicked out. In order to encourage the new generation of trainers, the Quartz Alliance limits the qualifications of the official gymnasium owner to 50 years old. Even Sakaki is about to retire, let alone the Old Man Wenyi, who sounds quite old. Did you just meet the Old Man Wenyi? His old man has a bad temper? Amu came to help him, and then asked curiously, I'm not from the local area, but I've learned it just now. TSK. He came up and asked me about my understanding of the grass system. Halfway through my speech, he suddenly lost his temper. I guess he may still have the superpower system, so he is a little nervous. the young man said angrily. Well, the psychic department is a little neurotic. Generally, as long as it is not in front of the superpower trainer, everyone will say so. Who is here again? If it's just an ignorant brat, don't come up. Another voice came from the treehouse. Of course Eminem wanted to try. He hurried up the stairs around the tree trunk and didn't dare to ask the young man just now to give him a missed question here. Zyloksha also followed behind. When I came to the treehouse, I saw an old man who was really old and recognizable. He was smoking a pipe while sitting on a wooden chair. There was a giant vine growing very well beside him. Rattan. This old man has white hair and white beard, only a strangely trimmed short beard on his chin, but his white hair is as long as his waist, and at this time, there are green leaf shaped masks on the eyes, and clothes made of large leaves on the body, which looks mysterious. As soon as Armu came in, he took a few more glances at this giant vine. It was bigger than the average giant vine, and there were more vines. Obviously, its individual value and growth value were excellent, more like a tentacle monster up. Old man Wenli stared at Amu and Zyloksha with a serious face. Huh. The little girl at the back, you are not a grass type trainer, are you? Probably it can be seen from the temperament. I'm a water system trainer. Zyloksha said arrogantly and energetically. At first, Eminem thought that this strange old man might be angry, but he didn't expect that his originally serious face showed a smile and said, yes, you must have confidence in your own attributes. When Zyloksha heard this, she relaxed a little from her gunpowder smelling mood, but then she asked old Manly and said, even if it doesn't make a difference, it's not ashamed, you. Zyloksha frowned immediately, but was stopped by Armu. Old man, I'm a grass type trainer. I heard that you got a leaf stone. If you don't need it, I can give you 500,000 yuan. The old man asked. G directly interrupted. HMPH. If you spend money to buy it, you should save it. Ye's issue will only be given to those who are worthy of it. What do you mean, old man? Eminem asked tentatively. Did you just travel this year? Old man Yi asked first. That's right, less than a month to be precise. Now there are two Pokémon, Eggy and Bulbasaur, Eminem said, releasing Eggy and Bulbaseed. Since he looks like he wants to test, he can also look at his own training results first. After when Yi looked at the two Pokémon, he nodded slightly. At the same time, he didn't know if it was Eminem's illusion, but he always felt that his attitude seemed to be a little looser. What do you think is the nature of the power of the grass type? Old man Yi asked directly. Huh. Amu was surprised when he heard this. Didn't you think about it? When Yi was flabbergasted again. Eminem was surprised, not because the question was so basic, but because the question was very core. What is the strength of each department has always been pursued by trainers and various researchers, but there is no final formula. Generally speaking, each school has its own words, and there is no unified answer. Eminem didn't expect him to ask this. If he wanted to promote his own genre, he should set up gymnasiums and recruit students, right? Although the Quartz Alliance has requirements on the age of the owner of the official gymnasium, they can open their own private gymnasiums. Others don't know what genre he is. Are you looking for a destined person? To ask a young man so casually, but seeing what Elder Wenli said, Armu can only talk about his own understanding. Grass is generally considered to be the power of plants. When Armu said this, the old man Wenli was obviously a little impatient, as if he was about to be thrown out by the giant vine in the next moment. However, generally speaking, I think the power of the grass type should originate from the earth, and at the same time, inherit the power of the sun. That is, it has similarities with the fairy type. Armu said a little deeper. There was some brilliance in Wenli's eyes, but he still asked critically, it originated from the earth? Are you trying to say the grass type is the evolution of the ground type? No, there is still a difference between the earth and ground element. The ground element tends to be the rhythmic force of the earth, and the grass element I'm talking about comes from the earth. How should I draw it from the feeling of vitality in the earth, right? Eminem couldn't say it well. After all, this kind of question is a bit out of line for newcomers. But the old man Wenli was already in a good mood at this time. He stretched his legs before he knew it and stopped sitting cross-legged. Then, what did you say about inheriting the power of the sun? Why did you mention the fairy system? Old Manny asked half as a question and half as a guide. This is obvious. Among the grass types, there are also many skills that use sunlight, and the power of the fairy type tends to be the power of the moon and stars, and a large part of it also uses the sunlight reflected by them. Both neither is exactly harnessing the power of the sun, but there does overlap in harnessing external power. In fact, when it comes to the fairy system, Eminem is more comfortable. After all, the sequence 9 and sequence 8 I chose are both moon path you just said. Apostrophe generally is this kind of understanding. How about you go deeper? Say it boldly. Are young people still afraid of making mistakes? Asking the old man's attitude, he has obviously let go at this time open up point. After hesitating for a moment, Amu said, actually, I still have a feeling the essence of the grass system is that the earth plunders the power of the sun. They ask. The Old Many. Chapter 16 Special Talent. The grass system, with the help of the power of the sun, absorbs the nutrients of the earth point. If the grass system is the means by which the earth plunders the sun, then it must be the kind that can handle both ends with ease. Hearing Amu's high theory, the old man Wenyi also showed a bit of surprise. His surprise, Amu always felt a sense of familiarity. But there is no more reaction. After all, Eminem is slightly face blind. As for the response of the old man, it is not Eminem's argument, which is consistent with how much he is similar, but it is groundbreaking enough, and at the same time, it is not divorced from reality. The reason why Amu has such a focus is also because of the knowledge of herbal medicine given to him by the pharmacist, and Amu himself tends to be fairy type, evil type and ghost type, that is, the moon, the stars, and the dark, cursed power. The biggest difference between the power of the fairy system and the super energy system is that the super energy system is one's own spiritual power, while the fairy system uses the power of the outside world. The means of using the power of the sun in the grass system, and the means of using the moonlight and starlight in the fairy system are essentially using the power of the sun. When I asked old Manye, before asking those young grass type trainers, I didn't really want to get some amazing answers, but it was just a test of thinking. It's not a big deal for young people to be temporarily lacking in ability, but if they only know how to follow the scriptures, or don't seek a deep understanding at all, then they don't deserve his attention. And the current Emu is very satisfied with old man Wenyi, even amazing. Old man. Seeing that he was silent, Amu called again. Well, you, not bad. Old man Wenyi showed obvious appreciation in his eyes after discovering this. Eminem said to himself, be steady, you don't have any talent, do you? Asked Elder Yi. The second sentence, which made Eminem a little embarrassed. There are no special talents now. Amu said honestly. Obviously he also understood that what old man Yi was talking about was not his talents, but those special talents. For the grass type, such as the power of grass and the heart of grass, the common ones such as the power of ordinary pan, the power of overcoming. This kind of special talent will give the trainer special abilities, but trainers with this kind of talent are very rare, especially among newcomer trainers. It is normal not to have one. Well, don't worry too much. When Yi's vision is obviously different, as if this is some kind of poor qualification. Slim Shady. Of course, Amu is not discouraged, not to mention that even professional trainers, 90% do not have such special talents, and Amu feels that with the improvement of the path of God, he will awaken this talent sooner or later. Not to mention, one of the abilities of the harvest priest in sequence 7 is become more talented in the ground, grass, and poison types, which might be able to stimulate the special talents of these three types. Talent or something is not the key. Maybe some special talents can make your path to become a king level trainer smoother, but if you want to go further, it depends on your heart. Asking the old man, I don't know, should it be consolation or encouragement? But this tone is really not ordinary. A Pokémon with a theoretical combat power of more than 60,000 is called a Heavenly King, and only a trainer who has more than 6 Heavenly King level Pokémon in a team can be called a Heavenly King level trainer, in the general sense. A Pokémon trainer is a king level trainer. In addition, each alliance also has the title of 4 Heavenly Kings. The high level of the alliance above the Lord. For ordinary trainers, especially novice trainers, a king level Pokémon trainer is already out of reach. but the tone of the old man who asked Yi was like saying the king is just getting started tch. But which of the 4 heavenly kings of quartz has no special talent? Zyarksha said in a tone of you can understand Pokémon better than the 4 heavenly kings. Point at this time, the old man Wenyi showed a heartfelt expression. Little girl, you are right, but special talents can be compensated and cultivated, so the heart is the most important thing. Otherwise if you are a fool, it's useless to give him any talent. I saw the old man Wenyi talking, and at this time, he stretched out his hand to unmuse my frog seed, with his palm facing away, and closed his eyes. Lan. Lion showed a puzzled expression, as if he sensed something. Elder Wenyi opened his eyes in surprise. He was puzzled for a while, and then he looked at Emu with more excitement and said, it seems, you don't have special talents. It's just a relatively hidden type. Otherwise, how could you inherit so many talents? Skill seeing. This, Amu immediately understood, and asked old Manye that he had just displayed his special talent, but he didn't know what it was. Is this the heart of grass? Eminem asked curiously. In fact, Amu is not interested in asking about the special talents of the old Manye, but now the old man looks like he wants Amu to ask him. He itched and asked out. Old man Wenyi glanced at him and said, I have no experience. Heart of grass? I have it too, but it's not just heart of grass. The power of Changpan. It is the power of Changpan. Zyarksha said in surprise from the side. You little girl is more knowledgeable. When Yi looked at Zyarksha in surprise. Eminem doesn't know much about the power of a weapon, because in the basic trainer books, various special talents are not placed in a particularly important position. After all, this is very rare. Putting it in basic books, besides dampening the enthusiasm of newcomers, what effect does it have? But Eminem at least knows that the power of Viridian can be said to be a symbol of Kanto, just like Sinoswava guide power and Carlos's overpowering power from the gossip and rumors. Eminem knows that the 2 major characteristics of Viridian power are the ability to communicate with Pokémon and the ability to heal Pokémon's injuries. It can be called the Kanto area, the strongest special talent, because the entire Kanto is basically the Ring Viridian Forest area, and this special talent only appears in Kanto. So many people think that this is the power bestowed by the Viridian Forest, and the 4 heavenly kings mentioned by Zyarksha before, and the Dragon King Do, who is also the popular candidate for the next Quartz champion, is the heart of the dragon plus the power of Changpan. Power, it can be said that it is similar to Do's configuration, so that's it. This is the power of Changpan. It's so powerful, so powerful. Eminem tried to make his tone as sincere as possible and coaxed the old man as soon as possible. The old man thinks that you are very talented in the grass department and the power of Changpan. Although many people think that it is a natural ability, but the old man thinks that this is actually an extension of the power of the grass. Asking the old man suddenly, the tone became more serious. Zyarksha immediately understood that this old man seems to have taken a fancy to Eminem. Although Zyarksha has a grudge against Mr. Yi for some reasons, she is still happy for Eunuch at this time. After all, no one can say whether the power of Viridian can be cultivated, but the heart of grass can definitely, and this old man must be the king of grass. Maybe even a trainer at the level of a great king. After asking old man Yi for hinting for a long time, Amu seemed to realize something, and said pleasantly, then, can you give me Izushi? Ask Elder Yi and Zyarksha. Chapter 17. Dr. Jumu. Boy, you are also a trainer of the grass department. I had 3 students before, and now they have all finished their studies and left. When Yi gave a further hint, I'm not such a professional grass trainer. Have you given your leaf stone to the students yet? Amu was a little disappointed. Asked the old man Yi, after talking for a long time. In Eminem's impression, the value of the old man Wenyi seems to be a piece of leaf stone. The Izushi was obtained by the old man only recently. And, if the old man's students can't even find the Izushi, then they are not leaving after they have completed their studies, but have been driven away. Old man, when I emphasized. Amu breathed a sigh of relief, seeing the way Amu let out a sigh of relief. Mr. Wenyi couldn't help but sigh. Do you still only pay attention to Izushi? Is the old man's hint not obvious enough? PFFD. Zyarksha couldn't help laughing out loud. Old man Wenyi glared at him immediately, while Zyara reminded him, "Mum, this master of the grass department should want to accept you as a student." Amu was taken aback when he heard the words, a little unprepared. The teacher-student relationship in this world has not been paid much attention to in the mainstream for a long time. It is more similar to the teacher-student relationship. It is not so rare for a trainer to have studied in several gymnasiums at the same time and have many teachers, unless it is some hermit tribe or inheritance. There may still be a strict teacher-student relationship point, but Eminem was still a little unprepared, and more importantly, Eminem has plans of her own. One is the ability of the way of God, which makes Eminem feel very useful, and he is more inclined to dig in this aspect. Secondly, although the grass department is one of the departments that Eminem will be inclined to in the future, Eminem is by no means a pure grass department trainer, so the teachings of Mr. Yi may not be suitable for him. This is still a long-term perspective, just looking at the immediate situation. Now, for the promotion of God's path, Eminem's goal is to be the newcomer championship. It is impossible to delay for a few years. Stay and study with old Manyi. So, this old sir, I think it is more suitable for me to study in travel and practice. Eminem declined. Ask the old Manyi. Zyarksha? Not to mention asking old Manyi, Zyarksha also looked at Eminem in surprise. Normally, no one would give up this kind of opportunity, right? Although the academic school and the traveling school have different ways of improving themselves, if there is a real master trainer who is willing to accept students, the priority must be higher than the two. Boy, this old man is the power of Changpan. Elder Wenyi stared at Emu with bullseyes. This talent should not be the key. Some special talents can at most make me reach the heavenly king level trainer more smoothly, but if I want to go further, it still depends on my own heart. Reasonably said. Ask the old Manyi. At first hearing, old Manyi thought that Amu was using his own words to tease him, but then he asked Elder Yi, but he could feel the confidence on Emu's body, and his expression gradually loosened until, ha ha ha, good, very energetic. When he suddenly laughed. With his big smile, the original expression on his face became more and more familiar to Eminem. Drive. Okay? Eminem whispered. Huh? Do you know my brother too? I saw the old man Wenyi talking and went to find a pair of super cool goggles to put on. You and Dr. Oki. Amu suddenly showed some surprise. After Wenyi changed his clothes, he immediately resembled Dr. Oki by 5 points, and the smile and smile were even 8 points. When Yi is just a name given by others. The old man Jumu, besides being a Pokémon trainer, is also considered a doctor. After picking off the leaves and putting on glasses, Jumu said that he was completely a giant tree. Note 1. Amu also understood at this time. It seems that, although Dr. Romu's family is far less horrible than the Junsha family and the Joy family, there are still many doctors. In the animation, there is also a Dr. Oki in the Alola area, which is nicknamed Drive Oki Alola form, but it is actually the cousin of Dr. Oki in Kanto Chengaya Oki, who can also be called Dr. Chengaya, so that's how it is. It's such a coincidence that Dr. Damu gave me my frog seed. Amu immediately got close. Then, your Pokémon is also bound to Damu, right? I will contact him later and transfer it to me. It's good that you have your own persistence, but it's okay if you want to travel and the old man is not in Maple Leaf all the time. Town, just come and see it occasionally. This old man can help you make a travel plan and pass on some learning materials to you, by the way. Anyway, it was recorded when teaching former students. Jumu is really optimistic about Eminem's appearance. However, hearing what Dr. Jumu said, Eminem was a little bit of a wax. There was no other reason, because he was not a pure grass trainer in the first place. Changing the teleportation location of the elves to Dr. Jumu's research institute undoubtedly means checking homework, and it is impossible to hide this point. This seeing that Emu was still a little embarrassed, Jumu also said angrily, "Why do you hesitate?" No, Dr. Jumu, I'm not hesitating. There is one thing, I'm not a pure grass trainer, and even if I really want to count it now, I'm better at ghost, fairy, and evil Amu explained quickly. Jumu, because of the exaggerated goggles, Eminem didn't know what Jumu's expression was. Zylaksha on the side also looked at Eminem in surprise at this time. Ghost and fairy are both rare. Upper 4, isn't it a grass type tendency? Then how did you have those thoughts before? Jumu asked Eminem more calmly than he imagined. I'm also interested in grass, ground, and poison, and I'm still a first-class pharmacist, so the trainer chose to start with grass. Eminem was just making a statement, but Zylaksha was staring sideways at this time, as if she felt the strong Zombal style. The Zombal castle is located in the southwest of Maya City in the Kalas area, before the era of the Alliance, is synonymous with the luxury of the Old Kingdom here. Note 2. After Jumu heard this, the eyes behind the goggles burst out with even more excitement. So it's like this: Earth type, fairy type, grass type. He obviously thought of Eminem's previous perception, and now it seems that it is not just the perception of the nature of the power of the grass type, it's just right. I have some guesses about whether the forbidden power is an extension of the power of the grass element. How about you assist me? Of course, I only need you to take a few key steps during the journey. According to the old man, you can just do the plan you made, and you don't need to stay anywhere. Jumu once again invited Eminem. This time Eminem naturally agreed immediately and changed his words. That's really great. It's an honor to have your guidance, Teacher Jumu. Well, the old man will give you a Pokémon first. It is a very rare Pokémon. Although it is not specially trained by the old man, it should be difficult for you to completely convince it, Jumu said, and took out a Pokémon. Only Pokeball. Although Amu knew it was very likely, he still looked forward to it, whether it would be a quasi-god or something, but Amu also knew in his heart that it should be a grass-type elf. Note 1. Drive Jumu is not purely original. It is Dr. Pokémon in Pokémon Home, a software for transferring elves between 3rds and NS. But this shell is borrowed in this book to enrich the character design. Note 2. The prototype of the city of Maya is Paris, and the city of Versailles is in the southwest of Paris. The Versailles style of the dream world. The name Zunbilla is also a translation in the game, which is used to refer to Versailles literature, which has an Easter egg effect. Chapter 18: The Ancient Naughty Thunderbolt. In Eminem's anticipation and Zylaksha's curiosity, Dr. Jumu pressed the elf ball. Then I saw a huge wooden elf ball appearing in front of Eminem. Seeing this, Zylaksha was surprised and said, "Huh? This is a naughty thunder bomb?" "No, this is an ancient naughty thunder bomb." At this time, Eminem also realized that it was indeed a very rare Pokémon. Butalthal powerful Pokémon are generally rare due to the relative difficulty of reproduction. Rarity does not mean powerful. For example, the naughty thunder bomb in front of you. Ordinary mischievous thunderbolts are not rare. They exist in large numbers in areas with high lightning incidents, or in power plants. They are purely electric. At first glance, they look like Pokeballs that have been enlarged many times. The standard size in the illustration book is 1.2 meters diameter. The naughty thunderball in front of me is different, with obvious wooden textures on its body. If you look closely, you can see that the eyes and mouth are also different from the naughty thunderbolt, but this is indeed a naughty thunderbolt. Naughty thunderbombs in modern times. In the game, it is naughty thunderbolt Ziki form, the ancient Sinnoh area, known as the Ziki area, and the game Legend of Arceus is the story that happened in the ancient Ziki area. It's just that in this Pokémon world, there is no such thing as washing emerald form. After all the mischievous thunderbolts at that time looked like this, and it was not a question of whether to wash the emerald or not. Generally, this kind of Pokémon with a different form from the modern era is called Ancient 20th. The naughty thunderbolt of ancient times is indeed of the grass type. Eminem has never played Pokémon Legend Arceus, and he only learned this knowledge after time traveling. The race value of the ancient mischievous thunderbolt is no different from the current mischievous thunderbolt, but it is no longer a single electric type, but a dual type of electricity plus grass. Ancient Pokémon. It's indeed very rare, but it doesn't mean it's stronger, right? Xyloxia said with a strange expression. Purely from the point of view of the attribute's resistance to damage, the addition of a grass attribute has increased the weakness of the ancient mischievous thunderbolt by 3 from a weak ground system to a weak poison, insect, fire, and ice element 4 series. Although there are more grass type main types, and the grass type skills also have the power bonus of this type, it is hard to say that it is stronger than the current naughty thunderbomb. There should be a minority of those with a stronger form in ancient times, otherwise they wouldn't be able to evolve into the current form a little bit. Eminem was quite open-minded. This is different from the situation of ancient Pokémon. The reasons for the extinction of ancient Pokémon are controversial, but most of them are believed to be caused by environmental disasters. Some ancient Pokémon are also very strong in modern times, after being resurrected from fossils, and if the modern form of Pokémon is different from the ancient form, it can only be said that the current form is more suitable for survival. After all, the environment is not much different, it's just a rare word for a trainer like you who pursues battles. Xyloxia obviously felt that this was useless, and it was not as good as ordinary naughty thunderbombs. As a result, he was immediately glared at by the wooden thunderbomb. Obviously it can understand. No, there are many unsolved mysteries in ancient Pokémon, including the evolution of Pokémon, and many core mysteries. Even as a trainer who pursues victory in battles, training Pokémon, it's not only about cultivating Pokémon itself, it's also the process of cultivating Pokémon and guiding the trainer to grow. Jumu refuted Xyloxia's statement at this time point, and Jumu has been looking at Armu and talking, obviously refuting Xyloxia's second, mainly wanting to tell Armu this truth: when cultivating Pokémon, it is not only the Pokémon that grows, but also the trainer himself. So sometimes what kind of Pokémon to cultivate depends not only on the needs of the combat team, but also on the needs of the trainer's own growth. Xyloxia pouted at the side. She seemed to have a certain resistance to Jumu, and she didn't quite listen to what he said. The core mystery? Eminem looked very concerned. Seeing Eminem's reaction, Jumu nodded more secretly and told Eminem some unsolved mysteries about ancient Pokémon. Most of the ancient Pokémon forms are hard to say are stronger than modern forms, but rare is really rare. After all, ancient Pokémon are not as old as ancient fossil Pokémon, but ancient Pokémon have fossil resurrection technology. In modern times, modern Pokémon can be found sporadically, most of which are relatively well preserved dead eggs, which are then activated with modern technology. The number of well preserved dead eggs is less than that of various fossils. More importantly, although it is difficult for Pokémon resurrected in fossils to adapt to the current climate, they can still reproduce after adapting, and even if Pokémon in modern forms reproduce, they will completely integrate into modern times within 1 to 3 generations. In a group, only modern Pokémon can be born, completely integrate into the modern group. What about the mating between ancient Pokémon? Eminem thought of it for granted. Similarly, even if the parents are ancient Pokémon, there is a high probability that the offspring will directly evolve into the modern form. That's very un-Darwinian. Of course, Pokémon will evolve when it grows to a certain level, which is not Darwin in itself. There is also a lot of debate in the academic circles about the origin of Pokémon. It is known that there was a huge explosion of Pokémon species 2 million years ago, alien species that fell from the sky in the past. However, with the progress of various explorations, people have discovered hundreds of millions of Pokémon and fossils that have existed in history, which has led to various disputes. To some extent, some special properties of ancient Pokémon may also be related to the mystery of the birth of Pokémon. Dr. Jumu also has an ancient mischievous thunderbolt, which is the mother of this one, and also the main force of Dr. Jumu. After all, Dr. Jumu's main research direction is the principle of elf balls and elf transmission. The appearance of the ancient naughty thunderbolt is like the ancient primitive pokeball, and the modern naughty thunderbolt looks like an ordinary pokeball. This is the focus of Dr. Jumu's research drive. Jumu went on to give an example. In addition, judging from the current archaeological results, in ancient times, Pokémon generally had gigantic individuals, but this is basically not seen now. The Overlord Pokémon in the Alola area dreams are also different. Teacher Jumu, I understand. I will definitely get along well with this naughty thunderbolt and improve together. Amu also said with interest, however, whether you can control this naughty thunderbolt will also test your ability to communicate with Pokémon. Although I didn't train it too much, it has already reached level 50. If it can't communicate effectively, it may not be able to communicate with Pokémon. I will listen to your command, and this is not for you to use it as a trick. Jumu said somewhat testily. Well, I haven't trained too much, and I've already reached level 50. Zyraksha felt the breath of Zundala again. Chapter 19 Animal Senses. Ordinary modern thunderbolt balls. The way to evolve into naughty thunderballs is to grow to a certain level. In human terms, that is, at level 30, they can evolve. And the naughty thunderbolt of ancient times needs least to Nito evolve. The evolved naughty thunderbolt has a race value of 490, regardless of the ancient form or the modern form. Among the Pokémon with the highest evolution stage, it is not high or low point right now. This has only reached level 50. Even if the individual value is not very high, at least plus 3%, dead eggs with too low individual value will not be able to hatch. The growth value has reached 10%, and now the theoretical combat power is close to 30,000, which is the standard of elite Pokémon. Moreover, combat power is originally a measured value and a calculated value. There is no essential difference between 29,999 and 30,000. If it reaches 30,000, it will increase by leaps and bounds. There is not much difference between close to 30,000 and 30,000. For Eminem, who is still a newcomer, it is obviously difficult to tame a strange elite Pokémon. Normally, even if Jumu forcibly transfers Jingu Naughty Thunderbolt to him, it is most likely to break free and escape on the spot. After all, Naughty Thunderbolt is a Pokémon with a relatively strong temper, whether it is modern or ancient. The reason why Jumu gave this ancient Naughty Thunderbolt to Eminem was not to enhance Eminem's combat effectiveness. I saw Eminem half kneeling at this time, making his eyes almost level with the Naughty Thunderball. The Naughty Thunderball only looks like a Pokeball, but it is not the same size at all. It has a diameter of 1.2 meters and is slightly floating stand-up. Of course, this kind of floating and the characteristic floating are two different things. The reason why floating is immune to ground type skills is because it can ignore gravity, that is, the fluctuation of the earth. So the ground type that uses the power of earth fluctuations cannot deal damage to the levitation feature. Seeing Emma approaching a little aggressively, both Jumu and Zyraksha broke into a cold sweat. After all, from ancient times to the present, Naughty Layden has always been so irritable. I saw this naughty Labo, who usually looked like staring eyes, locked on Armu at this time, and as Armu lay down, one person and one bull looked at each other. Generally speaking, with a mischievous personality, it would not be surprising to invite a brash newcomer trainer to eat 100,000 volts at this time, but Eminem's beast tamer ability came into play again, and the mischievous Laydan stared at Eminem with a slightly softer gaze. This human being is quite pleasing to the eye at first glance. It's similar to the situation of Pish and I met at Dr. Roki's place. Although I can't say how close I was when I saw him, at least I don't hate it. At this time, Eminem slowly stretched out his hand again, trying to put it on the head of the naughty mine. Of course, there is no difference between the head and the body of the naughty mine. But at this moment, boom. Naughty Thunderbolt issued its unique cry like an explosion. At the same time, there was a slight flash of light on his body, obviously reminding Eminem that our relationship has not reached the level that can be touched. Seeing this, Dandan and Myo Frogseed at the side immediately became hostile to this naughty Thunderbomb. Armu immediately appeased Armen and a lion, and then continued to try to touch the naughty Labo. It's not that Eminem insists on trying the feel, but the animal sensibility of the beast trainer, which can only be activated by touching it. Eminem's beast tamer ability is somewhat similar to the power of Changpan. It is a mixture of many kinds of abilities, but it does not have the power of Changpan to temporarily increase the growth of Pokémon and heal Pokémon's injuries. Effect point. However, they all have the ability to communicate with Pokémon and understand the details of Pokémon. Before Jumu used the power of ordinary Pan, he discovered that there are many genetic skills in the frog seed. The price of omnipotence is lack of proficiency. Whether it is the power of Viridian, or the communication ability bestowed by the animal trainer on Eminem, it must be incomparable with the superpower specially used for heart-to-heart communication. Naughty Laydan saw that Armu had appeased Myo Frogseed and Andan, and he let go of his vigilance in terms of strength. Armen and Arlion were of course far from being the opponents of this naughty Laybo. What made him lower his vigilance again was Eminem's attitude. This time, Eminem put his hand on the wooden surface of the ancient naughty thunderbolt, and what he felt was indeed the touch of wood. It is said that in ancient times, the elf ball was like this. In ancient times, human beings directly used cones to make elf balls. Even in modern times, the core material of Pokémon balls is still the seeds of cones. The technology has been improved, and the production is standardized, but the core technology has not changed. As for the principle of the Pokéball, it has always been a mystery. In ancient times, humans believed that Pokémon would shrink into the Pokéball by itself, but now this statement has been falsified. Entering the Pokéball is more like entering another world, a space. Dr. Jumu's main research project is this. Therefore, Dr. Jumu pays special attention to the naughty thunderbolts that look like Pokeballs from ancient times to the present point, although Eminem felt a little numbness in his palms immediately afterward. But obviously Naughty Laydan was only a little resistant, and even considering Naughty Laydan's character, this should be regarded as a half push. Immediately afterwards, Eminem began to use the ability of animal senses to communicate with the Naughty Laydan. Of course, with the current favorability between Eminem and Naughty Laydan, it is definitely impossible to ghost the upper body like Armen and Alan. However, the barrier-free communication at least made Naughty Laydan go further and not contradict Eminem, and gradually he didn't even feel the numbness in his palms. In the future, please give me more advice. After Armu greeted, Naughty Laydan shook his head and shook Armu's hand away, but it seemed that there was no sense of resistance. Seeing this scene, Jumu also confirmed in his heart that Eminem's special talent should also have the ability to communicate. Teacher Jumu, that Leixi? Amu asked with some embarrassment. When Jumu heard this, he rolled his eyes behind the goggles while turning around to look for the leaf stone that he got a while ago. He emphasized to Eminem, if you can be more sensitive to the power of grass, you can find the leaf stone by yourself. Different from the game, the leaf stone that Jumu took out was a green spar, not something like a leaf fossil in the game. Here, observing the evolution process of the Pokémon that uses the leaf stone to evolve is also an opportunity to deepen your understanding of the grass type. You can pay more attention to it later. Jumu handed the leaf stone over and emphasized, well, Teacher Jumu, don't worry, I understand. Eminem immediately responded. The evolution stone in this world does not come into effect when it is touched, but when it is carried by a Pokémon. As it grows, there is a probability that it will trigger evolution, but it is carried on the Pokémon that can use the leaf stone to evolve finally. As long as you don't take it off, you don't have to worry about expiration during the period. Then Jumu also talked about the travel plan he would arrange for Eminem. The first few badges don't matter, but after 6 badges, I will choose a gym for you, and when you get the 8th badge, you can go to the gym again. Go to Hualan City. Remember not to get the Hualan badge now. But as soon as Hualan Gym was mentioned, Zylaksha on the side suddenly became furious. Hey, now the official owner of Hualan Gym is still my father. Amu looked over in surprise, but Jumu was stunned when he heard the words, and then realized Zylaksha's identity, coughed twice and changed his words. Ahem, I didn't say anything. Anyway, if you want to participate in the rookie competition in September, you can go to Hualan in August. Just challenge the last badge in the gym. Chapter 20 Formal. Eminem conquered the ancient naughty Minecraft. In other words, after temporarily ensuring that the ancient naughty thunderbolts transferred to him by Dr. Jumu did not rebel on the spot, Eminem received some teachings from Dr. Jumu again, mainly because he accepted what Dr. Jumu passed on to him in the illustrated book learning materials. After that, if you don't understand, you can go to the town and contact Dr. Jumu, and Dr. Jumu will answer Eminem at a convenient time. There is no internet in the world of this world. When leaving Dr. Jumu's place, Amu found that Zylaksha was still angry, thinking about what she said before. Your father is the owner of the Hualan Gym? You asked curiously. It will be gone soon, Zylaksha said angrily point after a pause. Zylaksha added another sentence. He will be 50 years old in July, and the gymnasium will also lose its official gymnasium qualification. That's still the owner. Amu searched the illustrated book while talking, only to find that the current owner of the Hualan gym is indeed a middle-aged man, aged 49, and it's still a fire gym. Immediately after, in the link below, Amu discovered the reason why Zylaksha was resistant to Dr. Jumu, or Old Man Wenyu. Zylaksha's father is now the owner of Hualan Gym, Bakuan, the fire type Pokémon master. At the same time, among the folk gymnasiums in Hualan City, the most prestigious is a grass type gymnasium. The owners of the gym are three sisters, Sakura, Calamus, and Peony. You can tell by the names that they are grass type trainers. Although the three sisters are young, the eldest sister, Sakura, is already a heaven-leaking trainer. In the past 2 years, she has been competing with Bakuan's gym for a place in the official gym point search for Hualan Gymnasium, and in the second link, there are pictures of the three sisters in swimsuits. Obviously, the topic has surpassed that of the owner of the explosive hall point. Thinking about where Zylaksha heard about it, the teacher of the three sisters is Mr. Yi. This is Dr. Jumu's well-known trumpet point. In the past 2 years, Sakura, the eldest of the three sisters, has always failed to challenge Bakuan against the inverse attribute, but this year she will win without a fight. Point from the current point of view. After Baoan's gymnasium loses its qualifications, it must be the Three Sisters Gymnasium that has obtained the official gymnasium qualification of Hualan City. This, since Uncle Baoan has reached his age, the official gym qualification doesn't blame the owner of the Sakura Pavilion, right? Seeing Zylaksha's indignant look, Amu persuaded without ek. Zylaksha glared at him when she heard the words, "Am I angry about this?" Eminem blinked at her, as if to say what else. It's all because of the three of them. My dad urged me to become a fire element trainer. I don't want it, Zylaksha said confidently. Slim Shady. Now Amu understands why Zylaksha doesn't have Usanjia anymore. Although there is a Pokémon illustrated book, most of them ran away from home. At the same time, Amu also understands why Zylaksha sometimes pays special attention to her own attribute tendencies. When Dr. Jumu mentioned the Hualan Gym before, he had obviously agreed that after July, the official gymnasium qualification of Hualan City was on top of his three students' gym, which caused Zylaksha's dissatisfaction. It is true that Zylaksha is not simply outraged that someone else robbed her father's official gymnasium qualifications. On the contrary, a large part of the reason is also because she is angry with Baoan, but she is still a little upset when she hears Dr. Jumu say that point. And at this moment, Zylaksha looked at Amu unkindly, accounting the three of them are your senior sisters, right? That's why Dr. Jumu wants you to challenge the Hualan Gym when he wants your 8th badge. I also know that Dr. Jumu will definitely tell Sakura and the others at that time, asking them to guard this little brother. It is even very possible that at that time, among the three sisters, someone will come off the stage in person and assess Eminem. The badge given by the official gymnasium is originally determined by the gymnasium itself, but it is usually a procedural assessment. But the gymnasium owner wants self-assessment. There is no problem. Maybe I'm worried that my level is not enough, and I'll embarrass teacher Jumu. Amu felt that this was the same reason as Grandma Leixi had to pass her examination before she could sign up for the pharmacist examination. Zylaksha continued to stare at Amu, seeing that he didn't realize why she was angry at all, and was just explaining in a very ordinary way. She couldn't help rubbing her forehead. The three of them are so old, I can't compare for the time being, but I decided to be you. Let's compare and see who can achieve better results in the rookie competition, Zylaksha said with high spirits. You're not very old, are you? Amu looked at the illustrated book again, although the web page has been closed, but in Amu's impression, there are vaguely pictures of the three sisters of the Hualan Ko Gym that I just saw. Beautiful photos. Seeing that Zylaksha was staring at her with an increasingly unfriendly expression, Amu changed her tune and said, okay, but my goal must be to be the champion. What a coincidence. Xyloxia gave Amu a white luck point. In fact, in terms of the strength of Pokémon, if you don't count the naughty Laden who is not very obedient, Eminem is really not as good as Xyloxia point. Although she didn't lead the Yuuzhan family, Xyloxia's jewel Starfish and Starfish grew up with her since she was a child. In this regard, it is difficult for an ordinary family like Eminem to stand out in the rookie competition point nominally. Everyone has been traveling for less than a year, but I can't stand it. Many people have this kind of Pokémon who grew up together. Although they haven't been training since childhood, their starting point is a bit higher. Of course, Eminem doesn't have the right to complain like that, because his balls are almost in the same situation. How about we rest for 2 days, and then go to Tokiwa City? Xyloxia asked directly. Us. Amu was taken aback when he heard this. Amu doesn't remember that he and Xyloxia are traveling companions. They just came to Maple Leaf Town together on the way. Yeah. You don't want to escape, do you? I don't even have a gymnasium to challenge. When I get 4 or 5 badges, we can compare first. Xyloxia was fighting high, challenging. The gym on the way is also a competition, but the first 3 badges don't matter. Xyloxia doesn't think the 3 badges are any challenge point. In addition, if you travel together, you can also learn from time to time. More importantly, in terms of capturing Pokémon, Xyloxia's goal is mainly water type Pokémon, and there is no overlap with Eminem in this regard. However, my future schedule may be. Amu not only has his own ideas, but also obeys the arrangement of Teacher Jumu, which may be contrary to Xyloxia's destination. It doesn't matter, I don't choose. Anyway, the pass is a place with abundant water veins. Xyloxia didn't care, as there was no shortage of water in the pass, and naturally there was no shortage of water type Pokémon point. When I was in Hualien before, the 3 Sakura sisters were other people's children who had worn out Xyloxia's ears, and Xyloxia was not unconvinced by this, but she just comforted herself that they were older. Now seeing Eminem, who is also a student of Dr. Jumu and travels about the same time as himself, he immediately regards him as a competitor. Chapter 21. Accidentally. Beside a small stream in the forest not far from Viridian City, Eminem is cooking with a solar-powered rice cooker in front of a convenient temporary tent, while Xyloxia is fishing in a place where the stream is rushing. Today it was Eminem's turn to cook. In terms of cooking, Eminem and Xyloxia belong to the weak chicken pecking at each other. So it's 1 day per person. It just so happened that Xyloxia also discovered this good place for fishing today, so she discussed with Eminem to get out of the tent. Earlier I saw Xyloxia holding a fishing rod that looked very technological. It was thicker than a conventional fishing rod, and traces of electronics and mechanization could be clearly seen. More importantly, if you look carefully, what is tied to the drop line is not a fish hook, but a flat thing like a miniature flying saucer. This is exactly the fishing tackle used to catch aquatic Pokémon, and the signaling device is attached to it. From the perspective of fishing, the water surface in front of Xyloxia is a bit too turbulent. It is in the middle of the creek, where there is a drop, and there are a few rocks protruding. Although the water surface is only half a person deep and less than 10 meters wide, the current is chaotic and urgent. The reason why Xyloxia thinks this place is suitable for fishing is because she is fishing for king carp. The carp king belongs to all kinds of waters, and there are more Pokémon, especially in the Kanto and Johto areas, and they are even about to be flooded. The racial value of mere 200 is the lowest among all Pokémon, but once it evolves into Gyarados, it will become a ferocious Pokémon with a racial value of 540 and is good at fighting. Gyarados not only has good skills and race value distribution, but even though it is an aquatic Pokémon, it can move like a giant python even when fighting on land, which is worthy of a land battle in a short time. But it is very difficult for the Carp King to evolve into a Gyarados. The limit of most Carp Kings can't reach the evolution line of level 20, and they can't even reach the level 15 of learning collision. Moreover, the Carp King has almost no attack ability before level 15, so it is naturally difficult to identify his aptitude. It would be a waste of time to cast a wide net to subdue and train him. Therefore, it is a test of the trainer's eyesight. The reason why Zylaksha chooses to fish the king carp in this fast flowing place is precisely to observe the performance of the king carp here. Only the carp king who has the fighting spirit and dares to thump here has more ambition and hope for evolution, at least Zylaksha thinks so. The meal is already. Mew was about to ask Zylaksha to eat, when suddenly Zylaksha lifted the fishing rod violently. Looking at the swing of her arm, she really looked like she had caught a big fish. Seeing Zylaksha's heroic action, Mew immediately felt that she had caught a very active and fighting carp king. But, immediately afterwards, Eminem found a yellow figure and jumped ashore along with the flicking signal. I saw this Pokémon with a goose yellow body, short wings, a big head, cute eyes and 3 silly hairs on the top of its head. Eminem, Zylaksha, this is Kodak, right? Eminem broke the silence. Okay, it seems to be. Zylaksha was also a little dazed. The frequency I adjusted to the enunciator is obviously to attract the carp king, and it is to attract the carp king whose individual value is inclined to speed. Could it be that my understanding of the frequency tendency of water type Pokémon is not thorough enough? And why is there a reachable duck in such a place with turbulent water? Looking at this Kodak duck, its short hands are covering its head, and it looks like it is still turning around. It must have been fainted in the water, right? If you want to subdue it, release the gem starfish now. Eminem reminded. No, Kodak is not very suitable for battle, Zylaksha said with a clear purpose. Different from the animation, Zylaksha in front of Eminem has a goal and ideal, and maybe she can really be the owner of the museum in the future. Then, give up. Eminem himself has no interest in Kodak. At this moment, Kodak Duck had already recovered a little bit, clutching his head, and was about to walk back into the creek. But when passing by Zylaksha, Pudgy Kodak Duck covered her head and fell down at Zylaksha's feet. But Zylaksha instinctively dodged backwards, and one of the empty pokeballs that had been hanging on the belt of her shorts happened to fall off, and the switch hit Kodak Duck head. The Poké ball in this world does not need to be thrown when the Pokémon is retracted normally. Just press the switch. But when taming Pokémon, you really need to throw the ball out. It is said that the ancients could rely on their agility and ball throwing skills to tame some not weak Pokémon just by throwing the ball. Zylaksha exclaimed. I saw that the Kodak Duck was actually loaded inside by the Pokeball, and then, shaking left and right, it didn't really pop out, but directly flashed the indicator light of the successful capture. Slim Shady, can this work too? After a moment of silence, Mew asked, do you want to let it go? It's actually from the water system. After Zylaksha grinned, she stepped forward to pick up the elf ball. No, just practice. Obviously, Zylaksha still believes in fate and will not give up Pokémon for no reason, even if it is accidentally taken in. Later, in order to celebrate Zylaksha subdued Kodak Duck, the two specially made 2 more cups of beverage powder. Anyway, they will be able to go to Tokiwa City tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, so they don't need to worry too much about saving supplies counting from seeing Dr. Jumu in Maple Leaf Town. 10 days have passed. Due to their culinary skills, the two have eaten more than 20 kinds of full-style stewed rice in these 10 days. Their only way to improve food. 2 days, because I passed by a small village now facing all kinds of stewing methods. If you don't drink some drinks, it's really hard to get along. In the past 10 days, Eminem didn't meet any Pokémon that he was interested in cultivating along the waypoint, because it is not too far away from the main road, so I did not encounter any rare Pokémon, mostly Ladder, Green Caterpillar, and Bobo, followed by Spiny-tail, Goo Tail, Hazelnut Ball, and Round Silk Spider, Ladybug. In addition, I also encountered 2 kitten monsters. Among them, Eminem's most heart-stirring time was a Goo with colored glasses. Colored glasses is an extremely rare characteristic for Goo, which can offset a certain attribute restraint. That is to say, the opponent is just if a single attribute restrains one's own attack. It is equivalent to no restraint, and if both attributes are restrained, it is equivalent to only a period of restraint. However, because the owl after Cuckoo's evolution has a race value of only 452, and its attributes are normal plus flying. There is no additional adaptation with Eminem, so Eminem finally gave up on catching point. In addition, in the past 10 days, Amu has also trained the frog seed to about level 15. Yesterday, because of his growth, he automatically awakened the skills of poison powder and hypnosis powder. Basically, it has passed the stage of rapid growth, and Eggy has also been promoted to level 26, but even though she usually carries the leaf stone, it has not stimulated evolution yet. Not to mention the naughty thunderbolt of ancient times. It is still level 50, and Eminem can't command it to fight. Now, mainly rely on it to teach the frog seed and balls. After the meal, Zyarksha watched Naughty Leiden release an energy ball, then stared at the frog seed and Eggy practicing, and couldn't help but sigh with emotion. Drive, it's just Naughty Thunderbolt, right? It actually teaches other Pokémon skills. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 22 Training. In the evening, while reading a book, Eminem supervised the training of Myo Seed and Eggy. I saw Myo Frog Seed and Eggy all in place, with their eyes closed and their facial features squeezed, as if they were suffocating or something. After a long time, some green energy phantoms gradually appeared in front of the two of them. However, if he persisted with Eggy for a little longer, Myo Frog Seed soon broke his power after being slightly relieved. The tiny energy cluster in front of him dissipated instantly. Unlike in the game, the upgrade, or growth, of Pokémon depends on practice and tempering itself, not on killing monsters. It is true that fighting wild Pokémon is a form of exercise, but generally speaking, you will only fight if you want to subdue or encounter Pokémon that are equally aggressive. The main purpose of the trainer's travel is to capture Pokémon. Secondly, to understand the ecology and habits of Pokémon, so as to better train Pokémon, and secondly to fight with warlike wild Pokémon, learn from each other, not kill monsters, and upgrade. In fact, the most extensive way to train Pokémon is the skill learning flow. That is to say, it is not to learn skills for the sake of learning skills, but to learn skills for self-growth, especially the skills of one's own department, which has a particularly obvious effect on promoting growth. And the way of learning skills is of course not as convenient as in the game. Just get the learning machine. There are generally two ways of learning. One is to watch videos and combine some special training items for continuous training, and the other is to learn with Pokémon who have already mastered the corresponding skills purely from the perspective of Pokémon. The difficulty of learning skills with other Pokémon is much lower than the former. It is unrealistic to learn it just by watching the video. Generally, it is necessary to combine the corresponding equipment and venues of the fighting club or other professional training grounds to learn. It is indeed much less difficult for Pokémon to learn skills, but it is more difficult for trainers how to make Pokémon that has learned skills patiently teach other Pokémon. Dreams are not just random orders. Boom. Naughty Leiden yelled and violently bumped the frog seed. Obviously dissatisfied with the concentrated energy of Myo Frog Seed just now. Naughty Thunderball is not a good teacher, and he is not suitable for teaching other Pokémon skills. But this is how Eminem's training level is high. Although the Naughty Mind Bomb is not something Eminem can train, but he no longer resists Eminem, and even after Eminem discussed with it, he began to teach Tandon and Myo Frog Seed Energy Ball. Genetically speaking, both Tandon and Myo Seed can learn Energy Ball, which is also a very practical grass type skill. It is a special attack with a power of 90% according to the human evaluation method, and it has a small probability of destroying the opponent's special ability. Defend. Among the grass type special attack skills, the power is second to Crazy Plant, Flying Leaf Storm, Sunbeam, Petal Dance, Seed Flash, and Leaf Green Blast, ranking 7th. But, among the previous 6 powerful skills, 5 of them have serious side effects. And the only one without side effects Seed Flash is the exclusive skill of the mythical beast Zeme. There is no such skill in the illustrated book, and Eminem is also awakening beast taming. After mastering the ability of teacher, I recalled some materials I read before time travel. This world does not distinguish between eudaimons and divine beasts. It can be said that the energy ball with a power of 90 is the strongest skill among grass type special attack skills without side effects, and when the naughty thunderbolt is at level 21 in ancient times, it will naturally awaken energy ball as it grows, which is just right for teaching frog seed and eggy point at this moment. There was finally another movement from Xyluxa's side. Here we come. I saw Xyluxa slamming the pole again. This time, under the setting sun, a king carp that looked a little bigger and was very elastic flew across the air and landed on the shore point. I don't know if it's an illusion. Even if it is caught, the water splashing jump of this carp king seems to be much more energetic than normal ones. As for subduing the carp king that was caught, it was naturally easy, and Xyluxa soon had her 5th Pokémon after Kodak Point. When Xyluxa came to the tent contentedly, she saw Ami reading a book again, and reminded her, "Why do you always read without turning on the light? It's getting dark." It's not that Eminem doesn't care about his eyes, but Eminem still has the little ability of night vision, although in the Pokémon world, the personal combat power given to Eminem by pharmacist and beast trainer is not worth mentioning, but it is also the ability of the moon path. And night vision must be added. Xyluxa helped Amu hang up the solar lamp on the pole beside her, and she wondered, "Your Jumu teacher, didn't you pass on special learning materials? Why are you still reading? The content of the explanations that Mr. Jumu gave me is too profound. It is better for me to lay a solid foundation first, and then read it later." When Amu was studying pharmacy with Grandma Leixi, he understood the importance of the foundation. Xyluxa is no stranger to Amu's serious attitude. After dark, Eminem also told Naughty Thunder to stop them, and the frog seeds were still a little unfinished and wanted to catch up with the progress. In fact, with its growth level of level 15, it is very difficult to learn energy ball. Okay. Lion, it's not efficient to learn grass type skills when it's dark, so it's better to take this time to rest. Amu comforted. Garlic. Garlic. The frog seed seemed to be begging Eminem for something. Amu leaned down, put his hand on its head, and said at the same time, "No, it can't be done. The potion is just an aid, not for you to overdraw yourself during normal training." Frog seed calmed down when he saw what Eminem said. Although he still looked stubborn, he still went to sleep. "Thanks for your hard work, Boom." Eminem's naughty thunderbolt is called Boom, same as its sound. Still, going back to the Pokeball, Amu asked, while Naughty lay down nodded with a cold and arrogant face. In fact, Eminem also thought about whether the naughty thunderballs of ancient times would be more suitable for the ancient Pokeball. As a result, when he talked about this with Mr. Jumu, he was criticized by Jumu for having no common sense. After entering any Pokeball or Pokémon, there will be no difference. Eggy and Myo Frog Seed didn't return to the Pokeball. After that, Eminem will read until 11 o'clock in the evening. Thanks to the power of the moon path, Eminem is also full of energy at night. In the first half of the night, Eminem is in charge of the vigil, and in the second half of the night, Pokémon take turns to watch the night. The next day, exactly on April 1st, Eminem and Xyluxa entered the suburbs of Tokiwa. Chapter 23 Joban City. As one of the 6 major cities in Kanto, Joban City is also the largest city in western Kanto, so its area is naturally very large. Mew and Xyluxa didn't torture themselves either. After realizing that they were approaching the outskirts of the city, they went directly to the city bus and took the bus all the way to the Pokémon Center in the city center. The two have been hungry all day. It's not that he ran out of ammunition and food, but that he didn't try his 2 ordinary skills today. After knowing that he was approaching Tokiwa City. After checking in, the two went back to their rooms to wash up. Before leaving, they made an appointment to meet at the restaurant of the Pokémon Center. The restaurant of the Pokémon Center is self-service, and it is free for trainers who travel in the first year, so perfect for how hungry Eminem and Xyluxa are right now. After a brief wash, Eminem changed into clean clothes and went to the restaurant on the top floor of the Pokémon Center in Tokiwa City. Naturally, the scale is not comparable to other small towns. It is one of the 5 Pokémon centers in the city. 1. There is also a dedicated Pokémon medical building. This building, where human trainers rest, is also 33 stories high. Even so, it was overcrowded on the accommodation. Only newcomer trainers and professional trainers with more than 8 badges were accepted. Other trainers, it's okay to come to treat Pokémon, but let's find a hotel to stay. As a pure newcomer, you didn't have to worry about this in the first year. When I came to the restaurant, it happened to be the time for dinner. Eminem. When Amu was wolfing down his food, he suddenly heard a somewhat familiar voice. Look up. It was Yuanzi, who I met in Zengxin. At this time, a person was holding a buffet tray. After seeing Emu, an acquaintance, he walked over. You arrived pretty quickly, too. Yuanzi asked pleasantly. Yuanzi originally thought that Eminem would be slower, however, after Maple Leaf Town, Eminem didn't explore the area too far from the main road and came directly to Tokiwa City. Of course, another main reason for arriving not too late is that Eminem didn't let Zylaksha lead the way. I also want to get the first badge quickly. Eminem casually said an excuse. Get the first one at the Viridian Gym? The rules here. Forget it. You can get the first one no matter what. Ha. Yuanzi's tone was a little smug. Have you got it? Seeing that she had already shown it so clearly, Amu asked out of the way. Sure enough, I got an affirmative answer. Although Yuanzi didn't want to be a professional trainer, since he had the opportunity, he still challenged it. The first badge was also very simple. In contrast, the rules of the Changpeng Gymnasium are actually not very popular with newcomer trainers. The first 3 badges to challenge here are relatively difficult because he has to assess doubles from the first badge. Although the official matches are all in the form of singles and doubles mixed matches, there are very few gyms and newcomers who do not have 3 badges are required to play doubles because he is not good at complimenting others. Eminem just praised a few words, then changed the subject and asked, "Where are Shinichi and Xiaolan?" Yuanzi immediately showed a snickering expression. When he heard this, Amu knew that she must have done something to match that couple again. I originally asked them to go to Tokiwa amusement park, and then I got sick. Sonoko said confidently. Apparently she was pretending to be sick. Amusement park. Amu's expression was a little strange when he heard this. After looking into the distance, you can also see the Ferris wheel in Tokiwa amusement park. Amusement park. Should it's not like when we get to the amusement park, something will happen to Shinichi, right? Amu, a friend you know? Zylaksha also came over at this time, but fortunately the table was a table for 4. Well, I met in Zengxin town before. Yuanzi, this is my traveling companion, Zylaksha. Amu introduced each other to the 2. Both of them have outgoing and cheerful personalities. Although one is the eldest lady of the Suzuki group and the other is the 2nd generation of the museum, neither of them has any heirs, and Eminem didn't say much about their identities. Soon the 2 started talking on their own, a little more harmonious than when Yuanzi and Amu were alone, which made Amu very gratified and began to use his strength to fully concentrate on spinning to fill his stomach. On the contrary, Zylaksha, because of the presence of Yuanzi whom she just met, restrained her strength and kept staring at Eminem who was spinning wildly. Yuanzi just ate normally and soon entered the dessert stage, and Zylaksha looked full. In the end, before Yuanzi left, the 2 made an appointment to go shopping together tomorrow. Then they would introduce another friend to Zylaksha. After Yuanzi left, he returned to the scene with hard dishes. He had already eaten dessert, but he actually went to grab a steak again. Seeing Eminem's eyes, Zylaksha was a little embarrassed and then patted the slender waist slightly exposed under the short tee and said, "Of course the dessert is served by another belly." I didn't say anything either. "Aren't you going to challenge the gym tomorrow?" Amu also heard about the appointment between Zylaksha and Yuanzi just now. "I'll go the day after tomorrow." Zylaksha is obviously not in a hurry to challenge. After finally arriving in Changpon City, she will definitely rest for a few more days. Eminem didn't delay and went to the Viking gym the next day. As one of the 6 official gymnasiums, the size of Changpon Gymnasium is naturally not small, occupying a large area of the park, like a combination of a gymnasium, a stadium, and a sports school. Even if it is Sakage's industry, it is impossible for such a large area to be located in the city center. But rather on the edge. This is the first badge that Eminem wants to get. It is basically a process, and naturally no one will pay attention to it, let alone ask Sakage to personally assess it. At the door, Eminem also confirmed the requirements for the first badge: doubles. Both sides are not allowed to change players, can't help props, that is to say, only 2 Pokémon are tested, but doubles are required. As for props, although it can't help it, Eminem isn't going to use it either. Note 1. Pokémon battles in this world can also use props, but you can't use props off the field. But Pokémon bring props into the field, which is similar to that in the game. If there are no special circumstances, ordinary Pokémon can only use 1 prop. This is limited by ability. Generally speaking, there are effects in the game, and the props in this world also have them, but they are not as casual as in the game. It is impossible to increase the power of moves by wearing sunglasses and a headband, let alone bringing charcoal. Enhancing fire. The Pokémon battle props in this world are not only complicated in craftsmanship, but also often need to be customized, such as the convex helmet in the game, which looks like a hard hat, which can make the Pokémon worn have the ability to resist injuries. But in this world, of course, there is no such good thing. The anti-injury props not only need to be customized according to the Pokémon, but also require special training if the Pokémon wears it to fight normally. In the theatrical version, there are shots of Pokémon wearing armor with pictures. As for the skill locking and power enhancing props in the game, pay attention to the headscarf. The craftsmanship in this world is more complicated. In essence, it is to lock the dominant move gene chain, so as to achieve the purpose of stimulating a certain potential. In contrast, it is more common to bring tree fruit to the field, but it is not like putting it on the body, like in the game, and taking it out to eat when it reaches a certain amount of blood. Otherwise, it is better to take it out and eat it in advance. For the fruit to function, it not only needs to be processed, but also needs to be eaten before the battle, and then it will naturally play a role in the corresponding state. The battle potion processed from the fruit is the effect of the fruit in the game. Most of the fruit medicine can be refined by a first level pharmacist, and some powerful medicines require an expert level pharmacist. Whether it is props or medicine, it must resonate with the gene point to take effect. There is only one such gene point, so you can only carry one if there is no accident. Chapter 24 Children. No 209. Eminem, Field 6. Following the broadcast announcement, Eminem came to the Viking Gym, Field 6 of the basic challenge area. As the official gymnasium of the 6 major cities, Tokyo receives a lot of trainers and venues every day. If there is only one, it will definitely not be exhausted. I probably feel that the challenge of 1 to 3 badges will not cause too much damage, and the basic challenge area is indoors. It's still the 2nd floor, where it's Eminem's turn, but the ground is not a floor, but hard land, as long as it's not intentional damage. If you don't know how to, digging a hole, just to get to the 1st floor, when challenging gyms. The main attribute of gym trainers is determined. For example, this gym in Sakage is a ground-based gym. From the attribute point of view, when challengers are not fully sure of the challenge, they can choose a restrained gym to challenge. At the same time, the gymnasium will also arrange venues that are beneficial to you. There is nothing special about the basic challenge area. If it is in the real main field, you can even see gravity enhancement equipment, which will increase the ground-based moves. However, the basic challenge area is just ordinary land with hard boards, which is indeed beneficial to the ground system, but it is also beneficial to the grass system. After registering, Eminem completed the information filling and Pokeball testing step by step, and then started to line up. Because there are so many people here for the basic challenge, Eminem doesn't even feel like challenging the gym. It's more like queuing up for a physical examination. After reading the name, He came to field 6, and Eminem saw a staff member who should be a referee sitting on the elevated chair next to him. In the most professional competition, there will usually be multiple barrier Pokémon trainers such as magic wall dolls to isolate the venue from the auditorium. Carefully observe the field. However, there is no need for so much trouble in the basic battlefield, and there are no spectator seats opposite. Eminem is also a kid who is obviously younger than himself, and looks like he should be 13 or 14 years old. The challenges are assessed by the students of the gym, which not only provides the assessment, but also provides the students with opportunities to practice. And also charges the challenge registration fee and tuition fee. It can be said that it is a win-win. The gym has won many times. In a doubles match, both sides cannot change Pokémon, and there are no restrictions on props. One side's Pokémon loses all combat power or admits defeat. Both sides release Pokémon together. The referee read out the rules as usual. Then I saw the opponent's small gymnasium student, who released 2 gophers nervously. Both were in the ordinary Kanto form, that is, purely ground type attributes. If Gopher wants to evolve into 3 gophers, it can't be divided into 3 like in the game, but 3 gophers need to evolve together. Eminem guesses that he may still have 1 gopher, and what appeared in front of Eminem were eggy and wonderful Frogseed. The trainer of the small gymnasium exclaimed. Then he forcibly stared at Eminem with high spirits, probably thinking that it is too bad for such a big person to use 2 grass types to fight for the first badge. Gopher number 1, Gopher number 2. Come on, we won't lose. The students from the small gymnasium shouted passionately and hard. After that, I saw only 4 Pokémon fighting tentatively. The race value of the Gopher is lower than that of the frog seed and the egg. After all, it is also a Pokémon that has not evolved. Judging from the back and forth, the levels of the 2 sides should be similar, and the Gopher may be slightly higher after estimating that the skills are ready. Eminem first took a wave of quality. Amen. Lion. Use. Hypnosis powder. Student. In the gymnasium? After all, in this world's Pokémon battles, it is not so easy to kill the opponent in seconds when they are evenly matched. In the case of attribute restraint, Eminem still chose to fight steadily, which can be regarded as paying attention to the opponent's performance. I believe that in the future, this child will also understand what an adult is. The 2 gophers couldn't dodge and were directly hypnotized, and then the skills of Frogseed and Eggy were quickly ready again. The skill preparation time, or the filling speed of the energy tank, is not absolute. In the battle, the enemy's energy filling will interfere with itself. That is to say, when the same Pokémon faces a weak enemy and a powerful enemy, the time to prepare skills is different, and the fastest is of course that's when there are no distractions in the sleep state. It is a kind of no interference. After the second round of skills was quickly prepared, Eminem came again with a wave of parasitic seeds. Flying Leaf Storm, X2 came, ending his short-lived checkpoint assessment task. 2 Gophers lost their fighting power, and challenger number 209 Eminem won. After the referee announced, there is no room for Eminem to celebrate the victory. After all, there are other challengers lined up behind him, and Eminem is also worried that the students in the small gymnasium on the opposite side may cry out excitedly, and then they will be mistaken for himself. Not good. After receiving the first badge and rejecting the staff's move to promote the special badge box of the Viking gym, Eminem left the gym. Before leaving, Eminem looked back at the Viking gym twice. After all, regardless of animation or games, Sakaji is undoubtedly the boss of the Rockets, although this world is neither an animation nor a game. But, at present, it seems that many settings will indeed overlap from unexpected angles such as Zyarksha from the 2nd generation of the museum. Therefore, Eminem seriously suspects that Sakaji is also the boss of the Rockets in all likelihood in this world. However, from the perspective of Tokiwa City and Sakaji's gymnasium, we can't tell much about it. Even the law and order of Tokiwa City is one of the best among the 6 major cities, of course. This can also be explained by rabbits don't eat grass beside their nest. Simi just took a second look, and the identity of Sakaji has nothing to do with him. The law and order in Viridian City is very good. This kind of thought, in Eminem's mind, lasted for about 2 hours, when I got back to the downstairs of the Pokémon Center. You happened to see Xiaoxia, Yuanzi, and Xiaolan coming back together with a child. Yu froze all of a sudden and thought to himself, could it be, hey, here, how about the gym challenge? What's your expression? You can't lose, right? Sonoko looked at Eminem in wonder. Ahem. Of course it's okay to challenge the gymnasium. I was thinking about other things. Seeing Eminem looking at the little boy's face, Xiaolan explained, this is a child from a new relative's family, named Conan. Please take care of me for the time being. Amu found that although the little boy shrank a little when he saw him looking at him, put on glasses, and pretended to smile innocently, but Amu still felt that his eyes were very proud. It's basically a shrunken version of Shinichi, right? Really? Then, it's really similar to Shinichi. Are you sure it's not Shinichi who was reversed in time by Shirabi and Iaga? Amu said directly. Conan suddenly froze point and Xiaolan also hesitated slightly at this time. Obviously, she also realized that Conan is really similar to Xingqiu when she was a child. Hahaha, how is it possible? But it's true that this kid's eyes look contemptuous. Do you have a distant relative who plays tennis in junior high school? Yuanzi bent down again after laughing and leaned closer. Took a look. Conan being interrupted by Yuanzi like this, Xiaolan just smiled. Suddenly turned into a child or something. How could such a thing happen? Chapter 25 Cautious Conan. The divine beast entered the scope of Tokiwa City and even sneaked to change Shinichi into what he looked like when he was a child. This kind of thing is unbelievable. Both Yuanzi and Xiaolan only thought that Eminem was joking. What about the new one? Eminem asked inquisitively. Brother, Shinichi has an important case to deal with, Conan said immediately. Conan was also nervous at this moment. Why does this guy look completely convinced that he is Shinichi? Obviously even Xiaolan already believed it. Really? By the way, what about his cleaning rotom? It won't be with you? Eminem continued to look at Conan suspiciously. Conan's expression froze and he said, yes, brother Shinichi said that rotom will be taken care of by me for the time being. After Yuguan noticed that Xiaolan was suspicious, Conan immediately added, it seems that it's not convenient to bring rotom to the case to be investigated. Is that so? Amu looked at him appreciatively. Conan suddenly remembered that when he secretly contacted Dr. Ali before, Dr. Ali also said that his current condition, in addition to some mysterious powers related to the beast, may also be caused by drugs. If it's a drug, Conan looked at Amu with a smile on his face at this moment. Drive. Ali's professional scope is mainly in machinery, electrical appliances and program software, and does not include pharmacy. Maybe ask this expert pharmacist to check it out for me. Conan thought about it and sometimes felt that since Amu recognized Dr. Oki and had a clean background, it should have nothing to do with those mysterious people. Sometimes he thought that after he was attacked before, he realized in a trance that even the real Jun Shazhang had nothing to do with him. There are people from that mysterious organization, and it seems not impossible that the young pharmacist, Amu, belongs to them. Sometimes I feel that if I rashly reveal my identity to Amu, it may put Amu in danger. But seeing Eminem still looking at him questioningly, Conan felt that if he didn't settle him, he was afraid that his identity would be exposed immediately. So he suddenly grabbed Emu's hand and at the same time made a gesture to run and shouted, I want to go to the toilet. Go to the toilet. I can't help it. Brother Emu, can you take me there? Slim Shady, Conan, you can't be so rude, and you can go to the bathroom by yourself, right? Xiaolan stood aside and wanted to educate Conan immediately. But at this time Eminem said, it's okay, I just want to go too. I'll take him to my room. Maybe he's too embarrassed to go to the bathroom in the girls' room. Then, trouble you, Xiaolan said apologetically. Eminem said, and brought Conan to his room. When there were only him and him in the elevator, Conan still looked like he was clutching his crotch and urgent to urinate. After arriving in Eminem's room, Conan rushed to the toilet and came out with a satisfied look after flushing. Thank you, brother M. Actually, Xiaolan hasn't introduced me to you yet. Amu said calmly. Conan's expression froze for a moment. Isn't this the way I often find out that others are lying? Oops, I was too nervous just now. After all, after encountering such a thing, even Shinichi is in chaos. Actually, Sister Xiaolan told me before. Conan forcefully explained. Really? Then I'll ask her later. Does it mean that I'm much more reliable than Zinai's egomaniac? Eminem said intentionally. Conan calmed down at this moment, lowered his head slightly, and said with his glasses reflecting, so you are with them? What exactly do you want to do? Who? So you are indeed Shinichi, right? Of course Eminem wouldn't accept this kind of blame. That's right. What did you do to me? Conan finally admitted point, but listen to what he means. It seems that he doesn't understand why he becomes smaller, so who are they? Did you get shrunk by some gangster? Did you see what kind of Pokémon it is? Eminem felt that it must be the Pokémon's ability. Conan was relieved to see that Eminem was still not hostile, and at the same time, Rotom, you can come back. At this time, the bathroom door opened, and clean Rotom floated out. Clean. Cleaning Rotom made a sound, after which Conan comforted it. It seems that Conan released his Rotom while going to the bathroom before, and if Eminem is really with those people, he is ready to fight back at any time. As for Rotom, not everyone can talk. To be precise, not being able to speak is the norm, unless one is possessed in a device with a special sound producing device, which is the only way to speak. Clean Rotom in the washing machine can only make its own sound. After all, the washing machine has no sound generating equipment. And Rotom doesn't want to possess anything, just possess anything. Not only needs to adapt, but also needs to look at the individual situation of Rotom. You are really cautious. Eminem sighed. And Conan immediately said, you must not tell me about me. Otherwise, it is very likely that you will also be in danger. Then, have you told Dr. Oki? You felt that Dr. Oki must be able to cover him. No, you still don't understand. Even if Dr. Oki is not a member of that organization, it doesn't mean that there is no one in his research institute. I'd better tell you. Before I was attacked, and my consciousness was still vague, I vaguely saw it. There are Junshus, not ordinary Junshus, but Junshus of the real Junsha clan, and they have contacts with those people. Conan emphasized. Junsha in this world refers to the Junsha clan, and also refers to the profession of Junsha, which is probably the wealthy in this world. The Junsha clan and the Joai clan have cooperated with the 9 major alliances, and they can be said to be the main promoters of the alliance. Now the 2 clans are also occupying corresponding departments, which is also due to their talents. The power of Sen can persuade the murderers Pokémon not to help the tyrant for the time being, and the power of Joai can heal the Pokémon when using Pokémon to commit crimes. Pokémon generally have no subjective malice, but are only ordered by the trainer under normal circumstances. It is difficult for other people to use humans' concept of good and evil to convince the criminals Pokémon, but the power of Junsha can. Like the power of overcoming, this is essentially an ability to communicate with Pokémon. Of course, not all Junshus belong to the Junsha clan. Like the Pokémon Center, most Junshus are actually ordinary people, but generally in larger police stations, there will definitely be awakened Junshus. The Junsha clan of Sand Power sits in town. It's normal to be recognized, although unlike in the animation, all Junsha and Joai are exactly the same, but the members of the Junsha and Joai clans who have awakened the corresponding power are all female, and they look somewhat similar. What Conan saw was obviously the real Junsha, but there were many Junshas in Tokiwa City, and he was confused and didn't know who it was, and this discovery made Conan easily unable to trust anyone. Are you an expert pharmacist? My current situation, could it be caused by some kind of medicine? Conan asked nervously. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.